It is Thursday, May 1st. Did the intro just cut, or is that just my headphones?
It was a shorter intro than what I'm used to, but I think it was
Feel,
fine.
okay. I feel like it just like cut off randomly. Anyway, it's Thursday, May 1st. Time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. And we got a busy show with wrestling, and you know we should really talk about SP3. Is something I know we both love dearly. We should talk about you.
Yes, you and your eyes watching In the Weeds every Monday through Friday with your subjectiveness and your tribalism. I love everything about you and how you think about professional wrestling at the most inappropriate times when you're with your boyfriend and or girlfriend or both, and you're thinking about, man, how is AEW going to become the number one promotion? Man, why does WWE hate me being a critic so much? I love your thoughts. I just love you.
Guys, if you're here, leave a thumbs up on the video. That was very good, by the way.
You can tell I finished the season. I've watched way too much. I've watched 50 episodes of this. I know the monologues.
Leave a thumbs up on the video, everybody. Subscribe to the channel, tap the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff. Leave a super chat, get your question, comment, statement read on the air. I'm gonna warn everybody now. If SP3 wants you banned or put in timeout for your Lakers jokes, you will be put in timeout. I will not ban you because that, as we learned on Tuesday, that becomes a giant hassle that I don't understand at this point. But I will put you in timeout if SP3 asked me to put you in timeout because I'm going to be just as miserable as you on tomorrow's show, and I'm going to be putting a lot of people in timeout. I can imagine.
Well, I'm not that sensitive. I am gonna go against my vow that I put on social media on Sunday, and I will talk some basketball today because now I can talk about it with more subjective eyes and thought process than I when we were down 3-1. Now that the series is over, I could talk about it.
You doing okay?
No, like it's not like we had like the highest expectations. This is a guy who is a is a lifelong Laker fan, and I'm talking about from the beginning of the season.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
I'm talking about from the beginning of the season. You were with me where I said we were going to be an 8 seed and probably get bounced in the first round. Yes, expectations went up when we got Luka Doncic, but once the Mark Williams trade does not go through, we all knew what the weakness was for the Los Angeles Lakers. This was our lack of big man depth. I was very confident anyway because I'm going to be very confident. That's the Laker way, is to always be confident when you got two supercomputers like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves was playing the way he played. It really, though, feels like the fact of the matter was this was the team that I thought they would be after the Mark Williams trade did not go through. The team that they showed to be in the last 20 to 30 games of the season, it fooled me and it fooled a lot of Laker fans where our expectations became a little too high for where we were. When the Lakers acquired Luka Doncic on February 1st, it was never going to be, oh, this is the year we're going to win the championship because we got Luka Doncic. It was never going to be like that because it was a incomplete team. We had to lose all of our size, our number one big men and defensive stopper. We lost defense. We added a whole bunch of offense, a 30-point scorer who can distribute the ball like any other. He's an offensive magician, but on defense, he's a liability, it seems like. And it was proven in this series. But most of all, our ineptitude at the big man position was very glaring in like the final two games, especially this last game, because Rudy Gobert turned into Wilt Chamberlain out there on these streets. It was ridiculous. 27 and 24. We got marked by Rudy Gobert on a night that Anthony Edwards did not shoot the ball well and only had 15 points. He made all the right decisions with the ball, and he was distributing the ball and moving the ball around and made the right decision to get his teammates in the right position. So I can't fault him for the bad shooting night, but on a night where he has a bad shooting night and only gets 15 points, that's an opening for us to win. But when Rudy Gobert turns into Moses Malone, and we have no big man, where Jackson Hayes was able to give us 20 quality minutes in that final stretch of games, in the madness that was the Western Conference. He was able to give us 20 quality minutes, and then we can play another 25 to 28 minutes with small ball offense and play very well and run the score up. We were a good team, and we fooled a lot of people with our small ball play, not only on offense but on defense. We fooled everybody, and I'm saying that as someone that they did fool. They fooled me. They fooled me 100% of the way. I can't deny it. I can stand up here and just say, like, I was wrong. It was Lakers in 5. Lakers losing 5. Yes, I just forgot one word to add to that. The ineptitude of the big man, the inexperience of JJ Redick at the coaching position. He didn't make the adjustments that he needed to. He refused to play any big men on our team and decided to play Maxi Kleber, who's barely practiced with us. And then he's getting all salty and upset and walking out the pre-game media session because we are questioning your decision-making because you played all of our starters all the second half of the game with Luka Doncic, who is probably still not at 100% from coming back from the injury back in February, and then definitely wasn't 100% in this game after he got the back injury and left out of the game. But that was a big turning point in that game last night as well, was Luka going down with that injury, and his back only seemed to hurt when he was on defense. So look at that. How interesting. And LeBron James had 2 of the worst fourth quarter performances of his career in the playoffs. And it comes down to, I think LeBron James is 40 years old and in year 22. So yes, I think it was a bad decision to play him all of the second half in game 4. And then he lost his legs in game 4 in the fourth quarter. He lost his legs in game 5 in the fourth quarter. He was still good on defense, but he was the only one who was good on defense. And mind you, I haven't even brought up one of my favorite players on the team, Austin Reeves, who disappeared in this series completely. So it was a multitude of issues, a multitude of problems that went down here. You may say, oh, these are excuses. No, these are just the facts of the matter of how we lost, and the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves was the more complete team. I was someone who thought Minnesota would be better than us and seed better than us at the beginning of the season. I said that they would be a 4th seed in the Western Conference. They did not play well in the first half of the season, but once they got the chemistry down with Julius Randle, they were great. And they were way more athletic than us on the perimeter. Every single time down, you had Julius Randle was moving past us. You had Anthony Edwards was moving past us. Hey, there was times that Jaden McDaniels was moving past us because we lack athleticism and quickness on the perimeter as well. So we had a multitude of problems. They were the better team. That's what it comes down to. I won't be reading the comment section for any of this, but that's my segment.
Couple super chats. Lapglass says, "Ow." Yeah, I could do like the Shakira she-wolf. Ow, but let's hear the howl. It's too early for me to howl. Remind me at the end of the show to howl, Lapglass. I'll give you an actual like howl, but in the name of Shakira, not in the name of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Ryan Adams says, "It's a beautiful morning. Wolves is 5. What a wonderful series."
See, they ain't even used to winning this fast. They don't even know what it is.
I don't want to say I was right about the series because I picked the Lakers. I thought the Lakers would win in 6 or 7. But everything I thought the Timberwolves could do well against the Lakers, they 100% did well against the Lakers. So I was right in how I thought the Timberwolves could win. Like I thought everyone was sleeping on Minnesota. I thought the praise for the Lakers was too much going into these playoffs. Not you, but you know who. We're already looking ahead at Western Conference Finals, and we're going to get the Thunder. We're going to beat the Thunder in 5 games. Like, all right, y'all got to get out of the first round first. Like, yeah, you're going to get out of the first round against Minnesota first. And they didn't. And the stuff that I thought would show up, which was the bigs of Minnesota. It was Gobert in game 5, but it was Julius Randle all series. I said Randle was going to be a matchup issue for the Lakers because they don't have a physical big who can play up against Julius Randle. Credit Julius Randle for the way he played on defense. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. And then when it came to Gobert, it showed up in game 5. I thought it would show up earlier. He was going to be more difficult to scheme out because the Lakers, LeBron's not beating people off the dribble like he used to. Luka's very good off the dribble, but he does a lot of his damage in pick and roll stuff. And Austin Reeves ain't beating a ton of people off the dribble. And the Minnesota Timberwolves have really good perimeter defenders as well. So you can't just force a switch onto a weak perimeter defender and get by him. And if you're playing 5 outs, draw Gobert in, kick it out to a shooter, because they just don't have guys who are easy to beat off the dribble. And the Lakers don't have guys who are beating guys off the dribble. So it's tough to force Gobert off the court in that aspect. And when they did, well, Naz Reid is there and Julius Randle was there. I thought Chris Finch coached a hell of a series. I thought JJ Redick was in over his head for this series. And not only was he in over his head, Reggie Miller called it, or Brian Windhorst called it out, the immaturity, like walking out on the press conference and everything. Like, did you play your starters for an entire half? Which has never happened, literally never happened in the sport. And then you went to Maxi Kleber, of all people, in an elimination game. I don't think Jackson Hayes is good. I said that. I didn't think Jackson Hayes was going to be a serviceable player for this series. He had to give you something more than Maxi Kleber was going to give you. Like Maxi Kleber, who I'm not even sure if he played in the regular season for the Lakers. He hadn't played in months anyway. Just baffling decision when it came to that. But that's where they went. That's where JJ Redick went. He went to Maxi Kleber, of all people. Yeah, well, Martin, they didn't have
like he had much of choice. Their only big man was Jackson Hayes, and he
there wasn't play. Here's my warning. You mentioned this of you got fooled by the March and the April games, and like I tried to say at the end of the season, like I'm not putting stock into those games. I don't put a ton of stock into those games. I know Lakers fans, they threw the parade after they beat the Thunder in that first game, and that started a whole lot of the Lakers in 5 memes because they dominated the Thunder in that game. I'm like, as someone who has watched every single Thunder game, I can tell you that was a 50% effort from the Thunder at best. I would not throw the parade just because they beat whatever the Thunder were trying to accomplish in that game. And I don't put a ton of stock into the March stuff. A lot of people do. March is when guys just are out there playing and playing for different reasons. Coaches are coaching to maybe not give so much away. The Lakers had stuff to play for. The Thunder certainly didn't. And to put stock into those games, I thought was very foolish of a lot of Lakers fans. Not at you. A lot of Lakers fans. You saw it after that first game against the Thunder. The Lakers fans were unbearable after that. It's like, all right.
Yeah, most Lakers fans are unbearable. That's kind of our charm. Yes, that's our charm.
Yeah.
I did see somebody ask, "Oh, why is SP3 a Laker fan if you're from New York City?" First, I have a counter question. Why do you have to root for the team that the city you're from? I've always felt that that's dumb. That's
Yeah.
dumb. If your team that you of the city that you're from, you either don't have one, or they're worthless, or they're owned by idiots, then why would you root for that team? So I'm not going to answer that question unless you send a super chat donation. Then I will. Send any super chat donations if you have any questions that are you curious or want to be answered, because you have someone who is from New York City living in the UK who's a Laker fan, and you have an individual living in Ohio who is from North Carolina that's an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. So if you want those questions answered, either go back and watch FMC or send a super chat donation.
Yeah, people get on me all the time of like, how can you be a Oklahoma City, Carolina, and Colorado fan? Like, I'm all over the map with my sports fandom. It's like, you don't have to like the team that was your hometown team, because maybe I've explained my attachment to all of my teams and how I got to that level. So yes.
Yeah. No heat, Chucky Ducky. I just that was the one comment that was worth me responding to. So I'm not going to respond to anything else. But yeah, the short answer is the Knicks have been worthless for much of my life, so I'm a Laker fan. Secondly, I went to McDonald's All-American game due to my sister. Shout out to my sister. That was in Philadelphia in 1996. And I saw a young player, 17 years old, named Kobe Bryant. And that was my favorite. That's been my favorite player. That's still my favorite player. And I've been inducted into the Lakers fandom since then through Kobe Bryant. And also my dad used to show me like videos of Magic Johnson playing as well. So kind of Lakers since I was like a kid has kind of been a team. I like the Chicago Bulls for a bit too, because I always used to like to troll my mom, who's a huge Knicks fan. And when the Bulls beat them, I was like, haha. Even when I was like 5 years old. So, but yeah, most of my life I've been a Laker fan, to the point that when Kobe passed away, I had people from elementary school hit me up like I lost a family member. So
I don't think so, Louis. This is an annoyance, by the way. We're not going to play again until Monday at the earliest. We haven't played since Saturday. We may not play again until Tuesday. It's so annoying. The Clippers and Nuggets series could end tonight. If the Nuggets win, series is over. And we're not going to play again until Monday or Tuesday. And that depends on, for some reason, the Warriors and the Rockets series. Why is our series dependent on the other side of the bracket for us?
It doesn't make any sense. Even though what's the Nuggets Clippers right now? Isn't it?
It's 3-2.
3-1 is 3-2.
Yeah.
If
the Nuggets win
I think
tonight,
it goes 7. I still think it goes 7.
I hope it goes 7. I mean, I think all the games have been good for the most part. There's been a couple blowouts, but there's been 3. I mean, one was the Aaron Gordon buzzer beater dunk was a classic game, absolutely classic game.
Yeah.
And then the first 2 games were very good as well. Then there was 2 kind of blowouts in there, but I hope it goes 7, and then, but it doesn't matter because our series for some reason is dependent on the Warriors and the Rockets. I don't get it.
I think that will end in game 6.
I can't imagine the Warriors play as bad as they did last night. They were awful last night.
They really played awful. Yeah. And I think the Rockets got a little full of themselves with all the trash talking at the end. I think that Warriors will come back hard, especially Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler hates trash talking unless he's doing it.
Well, he can't play any worse than he did last night. I mean, nobody could play any worse than they did last night. So we shall see. And
speaking of trash talk, I'm sorry, Jake, but we got to talk about Giannis versus Tyrese Halliburton's dad. That's the best matchup that I saw in the recent couple of days. Bump all your wrestling stuff, guys.
I feel bad for the Bucks, and I said this yesterday, and Joel didn't quite understand where I was coming from. You will understand where I'm coming from, SP3. I think the Avs are the Milwaukee Bucks of the NHL. So I feel bad for the Bucks and their fans because I feel like that is the comparison to my hockey team at this point. So I'm sympathetic towards. I like Jake. I like Pulowski. So
okay, but why? Can you explain the comparison? Because I don't watch hockey.
Sure.
So I don't. Really
100%.
I know what the Bucks are. So I would know. I need to understand why the Avs are the Bucks of the NHL.
We got our championship, just like the Bucks got a championship. Yeah. And then since then, the Bucks have second round exit, 2 first round exits, 3 first round exits, right? Yeah. Avs are first round exit after the championship, second round exit last year, first round exit this year, unless an act of God happens over the next 2 games. So most likely 2 first round exits and a second round exit. Traded all of our draft picks to load up for a cup run for this season, mind you, for this season, loaded up and likely exit in the first round. So we don't have much in the way of future draft picks. We have hockey is obviously a little bit deeper of a sport than basketball. So we've got a star player, an MVP caliber player, arguably 2, because our top defenseman is also an MVP. He's a defensive MVP player. So arguably 2 defensive MVP caliber players who are happy, but we can't get out of the first or second round despite having an absolute top tier star on our team. Our coach continually gets outperformed by one certain coach, just like the Bucks get outperformed by the Indiana Pacers every single time they face them. Every time we face Dallas, we lost to Dallas last year. We're going to lose to Dallas this year. They're coached by Pete DeBoer. He's who beat us a few years ago before we won the cup. So it's one team that always or one coach that always beats us. We traded our star / homegrown / well-loved and respected member of the team, traded him for a guy who's completely disappeared in the playoffs. So the Middleton Kyle Kuzma trade there. We traded our top guy. Now, our top guy, granted, is not on the end of his career like Middleton. He's actually closer to. But look, if you want to say Drew Holiday for Dame injured. So then he sort of disappeared in the playoffs in that regard, but also injured. But yeah, we traded one of our top guys for a guy who has done absolutely nothing in the playoffs. So that is where the comparisons are. It feels very Milwaukee Bucks like.
I definitely understand that. Yeah, makes sense.
Got sympathy.
And yeah, it is crazy that the Bucks always lose to one of 2 teams. It's either the Pacers or the Heat. I think since they won the championship, I think that's been or even before they won the championship.
I lost to Boston.
20. Oh, Boston. Okay.
But that was when Middleton got injured.
But most of the time, I think it's been either Pacers or the Heat. The year before they won the championship, it was the Heat.
Yeah. One team just kind of, or 2 teams in this regard, has their number. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Bucks and Giannis. I know Thunder fans are we see all the rumors and the talks of, Giannis to OKC. We're not focused on that. On that. We got a 0-0 series.
Getting the championship. I understand that.
Yeah, we're not. We'll worry about a potential Giannis deal when it happens. I will say, I think all these hypothetical trades are stupid because if OKC wants to get Giannis, they will get him. It is just a matter of, do they want to make that deal? But no team short of the Spurs offering Wemby is matching, and that's not going to happen. At least I would highly doubt it happens. No team short of that is matching what OKC could potentially do. Not saying they will, but they're not matching what they could potentially do.
If they don't win the championship, I think that's it's an option. I don't know if it's an option if y'all do win the championship. I wouldn't want y'all to.
I don't think it is.
I wouldn't want y'all to give up any of your core players, because you can have this core for like the next 5 years and be the first dynasty in the NBA since the Golden State Warriors. It's crazy how long we've gone. Like since 2019, there's been no repeat champion. I think this is like the longest stretch in quite some time. I think since probably since like the Lakers, Spurs. No, because from Lakers and Spurs, it went into a Heat winning multiple championships. Then from Heat winning multiple championships, it took like 2 more years before Golden State starts winning multiple championships. So like, yeah, this is like the longest stretch in maybe over like 2 decades that we've gone without like a dynasty of multiple champions for any of these teams.
The Celtics are definitely going to challenge that, because that's a loaded team and a young team that already has 2-star players who already have a championship. So now I think if OKC wins a title, I don't think there's a shot at them trading for Giannis unless the Bucks are willing to accept more than the minimum on there, because then Dub and Chet are off the table. If OKC doesn't win a championship, Dub and Chet are on the table at that point. So
Facts.
We'll see. We're not worried about any type of Giannis deal. We have a team. We don't know who we're going to play yet, and it doesn't start until Monday or Tuesday. So stupid.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, and Old Nani, I never said they repeated. I just said they won multiple championships. I know that. I'm a Lakers fan. I know they never won multiple championships because we were in the same conference.
Jake said if Giannis the last one in a Bucks jersey, he was trying to kill a Halliburton. I'd like that to be the statue for him. Fair. I assume he'll get a statue.
Halliburton.
It's so funny.
A Halliburton. That was crazy. Like to the point that Tyrese had to like say something about it, and he did not sound like he was in support of his dad.
I mean, he shouldn't be, honestly. Like his dad just came out there and just holds the sign up like right in front of Giannis, just like staring him down. It's like, dude, like go find your son and hug him. Go celebrate with your teammates. Like you don't need to taunt this dude.
I like what Giannis had to say. He's like, I won a championship. They have it. Like, what y'all doing? Like, how y'all being disrespectful? Y'all need to win with class. Like, we lose with class. Like, yeah, I agree with him. That's an issue. Like, it wasn't even just Halliburton's dad. It was players off the bench, getting in his face and stuff like that. Like, it's corny. Pacers are not in a position. They're not winning the Eastern Conference. They ain't even getting to the conference to the finals. And with that type of attitude, I don't see them going to the conference finals if they celebrating that much off a first round victory.
I'm gonna forgive them off of that because I think a lot of teams and players celebrate in the first round more than people realize, but they just want to poke at teams who haven't like accomplish anything. And let's also put into context of they were down 7 with 40 seconds remaining and won that game.
Oh no, it was an all-time flop. It was an all-time flop by the Milwaukee Bucks. The whole pass through his hands and that turnover. I was just like, everything that can go wrong for the Bucks right now, it's going wrong. An 8-0 run to end the game for them to get bounced out in a gentleman's sweep. Yeah, that I understand celebrating the win, but when you're celebrating, you're kind of flaunting it in somebody's face. That's where I say I draw the line where it's just like, all right, act like y'all been here before. Y'all have been to the conference finals, so let's act like y'all been here before.
I think if they just won that game by like 6 points and the game ends with Halliburton icing with free throws and stuff, you probably get a little bit more of a ho-hum celebration because, all right, we handled business, we move on, and that's that. But the way it happened of Halliburton dunking to tie the game at the end of regulation the comeback in the final minutes, like I'd imagine they were pretty amped up, and I didn't mind the celebration. Honestly, it's gonna be made something because like, oh, you haven't accomplished anything, but like, and they probably would have celebrated a regular season game the same way.
Man,
like, let them
act
it's a big
like
game.
y'all been here before. That's all fine and dandy. Do all that trash talking. This is why I like Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, he trash talks probably more than anybody out there. He's one of the best trash talkers in the current NBA system, and he was trash talking us during Game 4. But they won a close game, and they weren't flaunting it in front of our face at the end. They acting like they've been here before. They just went to the conference finals last year. They're acting like they've been here before. You celebrate the win. That's all fine and dandy. You don't need to flaunt it in your opponent's face. I think there's a difference.
Okay. All right. I want to put it into game context. I think if Anthony Edwards had hit a game winner and had just come back from a 7-point deficit with 40 seconds, I think you would have seen people on Minnesota way more fired up than, all right,
that
cool,
was a comeback win in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they had 3 of them this series.
Yes, and they didn't flaunt it in our face any of those times.
I think context is there. I understand. I get it. A couple of, since people are talking about still this kind of stuff, Matthew saying, if I could pull this up, there it is. The only Thunder potential issue is you can pay all these players with SGA, Chet and Dub. Still have a great bench. The 3 superstar model is kind of dead. Well, the good news is there are much smarter people than us on the internet who have already figured this out. And Aaron Wiggins is on a garbage ass deal for how good Aaron Wiggins is. Isaiah Joe is on a garbage ass deal for how good Isaiah Joe is. Isaiah Hartenstein's deal comes up when Dub and Chet have to get paid. Lou Dort is on a deal that might have to get moved, in all honesty. Kaysen Wiggins is on a rookie deal still. And there's about 500 draft picks that will also all be on rookie deals. I think they have it figured out pretty well. The only potential downfall is, Lou Dort's deal might be, how do we, because Alex Caruso on a garbage ass deal for how good Alex Caruso is.
Like, I think that's not really as big of a potential issue as some people want it to be, because we have to show some respect to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, we are literally watching the greatest rebuild in modern NBA history, maybe the greatest rebuild in NBA history. What they have been able to accomplish and do, especially after the regular season y'all had, and y'all will cement that if y'all do make it even to the, not even if y'all win a championship, if you make it to the NBA finals, this is confirmed the greatest rebuild in modern NBA history. If y'all win the championship, it's the greatest rebuild ever.
We'll talk about championships. Which team has a better?
Hey, I've been talking about championships at the beginning of the year, so please believe I will be bragging like it was the Los Angeles Lakers winning if the Oklahoma City Thunder win this year. Jeremy's gonna be all modest and stuff. He might be happy, but he gonna be modest because he is in the internal pessimist. But I called this from the beginning of the season, so the only thing I love more than my team winning is the team I predict to winning. That's the only thing.
Which team has a better future, Mavs or Heat? Probably the Mavs. Like, depending on how you're defining future. If we're talking about the next 3 years, which, Nico said he's got his 3-year plan, probably the Mavs. Further out than that, I guess the Heat. Because once you get out of this 3-year window with the Mavs, I don't know what they look like. Because Kyrie's older and coming off a pretty major injury. Anthony Davis is older and is always injured. They don't exactly have a young talent who looks to be ascending or anything. Like, the Heat got some guys. I don't know how good they are. Like, Tyler Hero's kind of whatever. Bam is a good player, but has his limitations. But they're at least... Like, Bam's 27. Heroes 24, 25, something like that. So they've at least got guys who are on the right side of 30. And then, depending on how much you believe in like Nikola Jovic and their big Killa Ware, like they've got some decent like young players on that team. The Mavs got like Lively, and that's about it. Neither team as much as far as draft picks goes. The Mavs are in a better position draft pick wise, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to double check that, but
even though they should have got some draft capital for Luka, but
yeah, that was
they ain't do that.
Yeah,
and I'm sick of y'all Nico Harrison truthers.
Oh no, that's
the Mavs won. The Mavs won the trade because
stupid.
the Lakers lost in the first round. Okay, sure. I'm not even going to dignify that with the response. That's the stupidest argument that I heard. Yes, Luka was out of shape, but to the point that you need to trade a 26-year-old superstar. Okay, sure. That's what y'all think. Y'all better win a championship or I'm going to be laughing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very dumb to think Nico was correct in this instance of, Luka, look at him on defense, everything. Like, yeah, he wasn't good on defense. He's never been good on defense. He'll probably never be good on defense. If you want to trade him, you're dumb, but your return still sucked. Your return still sucked for what you could have gotten for a guy in his prime who was a top four player, like 5 at worst. But Jokic, Shea, Giannis, those are the debatables over Luka. And your return was an old Anthony Davis and no draft picks. Like, yeah, the Mavs were supposed to get a Paul George to LA package for Luka, like, and then some. Honestly, in fairness, the Paul George deal did also provide the Clippers with Kawhi. It was kind of a 2-for-1 on that one. That's why they had to give up so much, or felt they had to give up so much, is because Kawhi may or may not have signed with the Clippers if Paul George wasn't going to be there. So if you look at it like that, the deal is still dumb, but a little bit more understand. And look, I'm saying this as someone who, I love that trade. That's the greatest trade of all time in my mind. But I at least understand the Clippers' thought process of, we got to give up this much because we're also getting Kawhi Leonard out of it. Yeah. It didn't work out. And now Paul George is chilling at home, and Kawhi Leonard is 1 game away from chilling at home. And, Shea is going to be the MVP here in a couple of days. So, apparently we got
Kawhi's going to win tonight. Force a game 7.
I hope so. I hope he does. I want that to go 7. I 100% want that to go 7. Keep beating each other up. That's fine with me. Apparently we got wrestling to talk about, but I do want to ask you.
I forgot
wrestling. Who cares? I do want to ask you, without giving spoilers, because we're probably going to do a review with our pal Cher Delaware. Happy birthday to Cher Delaware, by the way.
Happy birthday, Cher.
We're probably going to do... What's that?
Should invite her on to sing her happy birthday.
I mean, we can do that. I can send her. Hold on. I don't know if she's, her work schedule is all over the place.
But she said she had that switch that she wanted. So
we're gonna embarrass her by singing happy birthday to her. Should I tell her that's what we're gonna do? Is we want to sing happy birthday? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I sent it to her. We'll see if she shows up. So we're probably gonna do a review of the show with Cher, but without spoiling anything. You mentioned in our group chat you had a lot to say about the finale. I watched it. I finished it last night. The finale.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I finished it. So without spoiling it, so nobody has to earmuff or anything like that. We're talking about the show You. It's on Netflix, by the way. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Like, what were just your general thoughts on it?
So the reason why I messaged that is that I have so many conflicting emotions and feelings about the ending of You. Like, I don't know if I hated it. I don't know if I liked it. I don't even know if I loved it. Like, I had parts of it that I loved. The only thing I will say is I loved episode 9. Episode 9, if that was the finale, I think that I would just be, I love the ending of You. But the way they ended it with episode 10 is why I have conflicting emotions and feelings about everything. So that's the best way I could say it with no spoilers involved.
Okay, our pal Cher Delaware is here, the birthday girl herself.
Hey!
So Cher, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
We were talking about You, the show, and You, but we weren't going to spoil anything because I watched it last night. Yeah,
You there, your glasses on your birthday with all these thoughts, these deep thoughts and insightfulness that you have, that you're always thinking about others and taking care of others. It's just you. That's all we have is you.
SP3's got the monologue down.
He does.
Yeah.
I still haven't even started this season yet. So
you're gonna start this season when I watch the finale of the challenge, which I've not done.
You watched episode 1 before me and SP3, and all you have to do is watch one episode.
I know.
Me and Cher were able to watch both episodes at once, like we said we were gonna do before this man completed and watched the second one.
The finale aired during WrestleMania week, and I didn't do anything but wrestling that week, and then I was just completely all out of sorts after that, and so it was the furthest thing from my mind. And so now I was just like, oh yeah, I still got to watch this thing at some point. When you get done with You, when you're on the last episode of You, I will watch the last episode of the challenge.
All right. I'm going to let you know when I'm trying to figure out, we've got a soccer game on Saturday. We're going to Holiday World on Sunday. It may be next week.
So you got a whole week, Jeremy. You got a whole week.
No, I'm not gonna watch it until she's on the final episode of You. You watch the finale of You, and I'll watch the challenge finale at the same time.
Oh well, we've had 2 episodes of our show since we stopped doing it live.
I think we've done 3. I think we've done 3 episods.
Have we?
In 3 months, we've done 3 episodes.
People got new jobs.
I've had 2 jobs since then. I'm on my 2nd job.
That's awesome.
Weekends became busy. Weekends are just there's so much going on now. Like you, we've got soccer on weekends. The tiny one has ballet and all this stuff. So there's just everything going on weekends. It's sometimes I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
Just want to sleep on weekends.
Listen, I've made some bad choices in my life. None of them have been worse than volunteering to coach soccer for kids.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
That
sounds terrible.
It was not a good idea. It was not a good idea. And when I signed up, I didn't know that it was, as I call it, the Jesus League. I have to preach to these kids at every practice and game. I have to preach to these kids. Yeah.
All right, here's what you tell them. You talk about your Bibles and your John 3:16s. Cher Delaware 3:16 says, "Go score a fucking goal." That's your preach. Perfect. That's your sermon to him.
So I swear this was like a bait and switch. They did it intentionally because they did not tell the parents that that's what this was or anything. And then I show up to the coaches meeting and they hand me a thing that's like this thick, full of the freaking testimonials and sermons. First off, do you think 7 and 8-year-olds give a crap? I'm sitting there trying to get them and they're like, "Can we go play soccer again? We don't care." They do not care at all. And everything's supposed to be about the fruit of Jesus. They don't understand analogies. They're like, "Why are we talking about apples? What's happening here?"
Kids,
Awesome.
parting of the Red Sea, don't do that on defense. Bring together the sea.
There you go.
I've been joking about it and saying that I'm going to get my license to marry people now because I'm basically a minister already. So
become an officiate next. There you go.
Yeah. We're supposed to have practice tonight, and I'm really hoping that I can cancel it. So
it's like I kind of have a birthday, you know.
They don't need to be coaching, doing
it's been raining for like 3 days. I don't want to go out there in the mud with a bunch of 7 and 8-year-olds. Like, that sounds terrible.
Oh, that was one of the kids had practice and just nothing but mud because it had rained like all week. And it's like, all right, can you just like cancel at that point? Quit bringing these kids into our cars and homes with all the mud. Oh, it just even us like just walking onto the field. We got mud all over our pants and stuff. We're not even running around. Everything.
Yeah.
Absurd.
Last Friday, I went to a wedding and I got home at like 1:40 in the morning and then had to get up and coach and ref because we don't have refs. So I have to be the coach and the ref at the soccer game.
That seems a little biased there.
Like,
and
what?
Conflicting interests.
Well, the other coach is supposed to help, and he just stood at his bench. The other coach just stood at his bench the whole time. So it was just me running up and down the field for 48 minutes. And people are like, we should do double headers. I'm like, what? Do you want to run up and down this field for that long? Because I do not. 96 minutes ain't happening. Sorry. So yeah, I was exhausted by the time that game was over. And I was like, I hate everything. I hate soccer. I hate the muddy ground. And it was freezing. It was raining. I'm like, no, but we won. So that's all the kids cared about.
That's good. I don't even know if they keep score.
They don't.
Our kids soccer. Like,
they don't. But my son sits there with my clipboard and a marker and keeps score the entire time. So
I respect it.
Nice.
Watching kids play soccer is hilarious because they're either all going towards the ball, and so there's like 15 people around the ball, or everyone's just standing kind of where they're told to be, and they're just waiting for the ball to come to them.
Yeah.
If the ball ain't like near them, they're just gonna chill, and that's it. It's one or the other. There's no other option.
Our team is the Penguins, so I tell them that they have to call me Sidney Crosby all the time, and they're not. They're like, who the heck is Sidney Crosby, basically.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm always like, because we're gray is our color, so I'm always like, Gray, stop crowding the ball. Gray, stop stealing the ball from your teammates. Like, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, that's always good when they're just like stealing the ball. We had that happen in the game the other day of just like this kid's just like dribbling the ball, and here comes the teammate just to like kick it away from him. It's like it's on the same team. You can see that, right? I can't say anything. You know, I'm sitting with the wife, and like there's other parents around, but I'm messaging. Basketball, I'm really bad at it, but sometimes soccer because my friend Samra plays soccer as well. I'm just messaging him like all this stuff about these kids, and he's like talentless 3-year-olds, all of them.
I'm out there just thinking it to myself the whole time. Like, why did the goalie just throw the ball to the other team directly so they could score on them again? Like, the whole time. And then I've got parents, because parents are the worst part of youth sports. And I've got parents sitting on the sidelines like, my child was only in for 3 minutes, and that one's been in for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And I'm like, I'm also trying to ref this game. Would you like to come out and help, or do you just want to keep sitting there? Like,
that's like always backseat drivers.
Yeah, the parents who recognize their kids aren't playing enough and then get on it. That's always the worst. Zeno Hour and Lab Glass giving up some advice. The Burning Bush said, "Pass it up." And Zeno Hour, Jesus didn't die for you to let.
These are good stuff from the chat.
Yeah, basically, I made the other coach do the halftime preaching at this last game because he wasn't helping me ref. I'm like, buddy, I'm not doing everything. So I made him, all the kids sat out there in a circle, and he would ask them questions like, are you supposed to be kind? And they'd all just sit there and stare at him. And I'm like, hey, answer the question. And then finally somebody would answer him. And then when they were like 1 minute until gameplay resumes, and all the kids got up to run to the bench, and he looks at me and goes, that was rough. And I'm like, yeah, it was pretty rough, buddy.
So do they call you coach?
They call me coach. Most of them can't remember my name either, so they have to call me coach because they don't know. They either call me that or my son, because my youngest is the only one playing, so they'll call me his mom, and I'm like, that works too. That's fine.
That's perfect.
I feel like Jesus and soccer don't mix. Like no knock on Jesus, but I don't feel like he was going to be a big soccer player. He wore sandals the whole time. He don't want to be kicking a ball.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have cheerleaders too. So, and the cheerleaders are like, "Go Jesus!" Like they're not even cheering for the teams; they're cheering for Jesus. So it's very odd. Give me a J! Give me a G! Like, the whole thing is just, I'm so glad we only have 3 games left, because I'm like, and baseball just started. Baseball practice started this week, so we've got 2 sports going on right now for the same kid, because the other kid's lazy, and he doesn't do anything. So I'm like, I need a break. I just need everything to stop. Like...
Jesus saves, why the fuck can't do?
That's why I'm gonna. The kid that's the goalie, he brought the orange slices. The kid that's the goalie, that was the goalie in that one game, he literally had 3 goals scored on him in under a minute because he kept throwing it directly to their best player every time, and the kid would just immediately score on him. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, so I
understand the concept of the game.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for the goalies because one, it's not the easiest position to play, but like they don't kick it all that hard and stuff, and it looks like the easiest save in the world, and like these kids still miss it, and I just feel bad for them because I'm just like, oh man, like you're trying kind of. But like giving up some of these goals, like you really couldn't like stop that. I don't know.
Yeah. My son, my younger that's playing, he's been playing goalie and he's done pretty well. I got him goalie gloves because I'm like, the gloves will help you. So I got him the gloves and I got him a goal at home. So we've been practicing. So he's been doing pretty well. But all the kids want to be goalie because all the kids are lazy and they don't want to run up and down the field. And I'm like, you can't catch a ball standing in front of me throwing it to you. So how do you think you're going to be the goalie? The whole thing is just... And let me tell you, how did I become a soccer coach? Because I have not played soccer in 25 years. Like, and even then it was in like PE in school. It wasn't like I was ever on a soccer team. So I have no idea how I became a soccer coach. Which
you became a soccer coach and ref.
And ref. I had to look up the rules because I had to become the ref. Like, I was, and I almost, great. Well, actually, I did sign up to coach baseball too, because they told us if we didn't have another coach, we were going to have to do travel. And I was like, no, I'm not traveling for an 8-year-old. We are not driving 2 hours for an 8-year-old to play baseball. That's not happening. So I text my nephew and I was like, hey, you're a pitcher on the baseball team, because he's getting ready to be 16. And I was like, you can drive yourself to all the practices. You're helping me coach. And I signed us up, but then somebody had signed up before us. He was like, thanks so much for that. And I'm, yeah, well, we all have to do things we don't want to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
The wife's friend got thrown into coaching basketball for like the final game of the season. It was one game. He had coached basketball for the final game of the season. Like, she knew what she was doing, but she's like asking the wife to like help. And you guys know the wife. She's like, absolutely not. What are you talking about? Like, it's like, I'll help. Like, I don't like it. I couldn't do it for long because I'm over here like, set a screen. All right, we're gonna run 32 zip right here to get the player this shot, and all right, zone defense on this one, and like I'm just thinking like NBA terms out there, and these kids are like,
like what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
That's been.
I don't have
issue.
a TV out here. What's a screen?
That's been our issue.
We're gonna run empty hammer on this possession, okay?
I'm always trying to get them to like actually learn plays, and they're like, "No, and half of them like will be in the middle of the game, and they're like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and they just run away, and I'm like. What? Like you're in the middle of you didn't even sub anybody in for you. You're just gone. Like
they don't care about running plays at all. Like that's what I'm thinking. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do something here. It's like, no, like maybe one or two. When they get older, they care a little bit more, but they don't care at all.
Right now, they do not care at all. Like they get a ticket to go to the concession stand after the game's over. So they're just like, can I have my ticket left? Actually, one of them stuck his hand in, like right in front of my face and went, give me my ticket after the last game. So I made him get his ticket last.
Absolutely. Teach him a lesson.
Just so you know, my petty extends to children. So you need to back off of me. Like,
love the petty. Very Taurus petty. Love it.
Yes. Like, no, sir, we will not be sticking your hand in my face and saying, give it to me. Are you kidding me right now? Like, yeah. So hopefully it rains and we don't have practice tonight.
Got my fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I enjoy baseball so much more than I enjoy soccer. Maybe if I was a parent sitting on the sidelines at soccer, it would be more enjoyable. It's not enjoyable as a coach and the referee. Baseball, I get to sit in my chair. I get to have my Kindle while they're practicing. Like, it's so much more enjoyable. So here we are. And we have basketball in the fall too. We just play everything at this point.
Yeah, that's how a few of the kids are. You surmise which ones, but
yeah,
they're just playing all the sports. I'll share. We've talked no wrestling an hour into this show, which means it's been our best show ever at this point.
Best show ever.
Cher, we appreciate you joining us. Happy birthday. Enjoy.
Happy birthday.
The rest of your birthday. Go watch You, and so we can actually record a show. And
I will.
Talk about
I'm actually going to turn it on when I get off of here. I keep forgetting that it's a thing. People aren't talking about it. So I keep forgetting that it's a show.
I think people are talking about it, but they're trying their best not to spoil everything. But if you did look it up, yeah, it is out there. There are spoilers. I couldn't even go on YouTube for the past week because all that would come up is spoilers on people's YouTube channels.
I'm not a YouTube person. I don't get on YouTube ever. So
I don't search for it or anything until I've seen it, because then you know how the algorithm works. Like if you search one time for it, then you're going to be hit with everything. So I'm like, nope.
It's because I watched the recap on, I think Penn Badgley did the recap of seasons 1 through 4 before the season started. I watched that, and now all my timeline when I turn on YouTube is ending explained and all this stuff, and I was like, oh god, I gotta get off of here.
Yeah, I mean, like my Facebook, all the reels on Facebook, I always laugh at Jeremy's wife because she's watched so many Grey's Anatomy reels. That's all her Facebook is. She's almost seen the entire show of Grey's Anatomy just through reels on Facebook. Like,
that's how it was for me in All American. On All American, I watched
she's like, I will never sit down and watch the show, and she watches them all out of order. So she's like, what's happening here? I'm like, oh, they came back from the dead. Don't worry. Like, so she's always texting me about the reels. All my Facebook reels have become Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I don't even watch that show. Like, I accidentally clicked on one of the reels one day, and that's all that's on there now. And I'm like, get Kim Kardashian's face off of my Facebook.
My missus has made me watch those seasons on Disney Plus, and I hate them so much. I hate them in their reality show and how they put on drama. I'm so annoyed by it, but that's life. You watch it for your loved ones. This is how much I love my missus. I watch that show.
That's the measure right there. If you'll watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yep, I watch Keeping Up with Kardashians. I fell in love with like 90 Day Fiance because of her. I like watching that, but Keeping Up with the Kardashian, I'd just be like, I am strictly watching this because I love you, and now you have to watch at least one wrestling show a month.
Honestly,
that doesn't seem like a fair trade.
That's the best part of being divorced. I don't have to watch anything.
Just watch what you want.
And my kids don't even make me watch anything because I'm like, you have a TV right in there in that playroom. You go in that playroom and you watch TV. I'm not watching this. But they have been watching the old seasons of The Challenge with me. They're getting really into it.
Nice.
They hate bananas.
Fair.
And they often,
Good
my
kid.
oldest is always like, what kind of name is Bananas? I'm like, that's not his real name.
Good
They
kid.
hate bananas.
Smart kid.
They like CT. Yeah, they're pretty,
Smart kid.
they're right there with who they should like and who they shouldn't like. So they've been watching it. We watched Battle of the Seasons, the finale. So they got to see the way that they treated Sam. And then they had just watched this season with me. And they were like, oh, Frank is way nicer to Sam now than he was back then. And I'm like,
And he was just as bad in that final, in the recent
I know.
final.
I'm like, sure. Like, yeah, that's. They were laughing though when they won, and they were like, "See, Sam, wasn't it all worth it?" And they cut to the talking head of Sam, and she's like, "I'm never going to forgive them for the way that they treat like."
Now you got to show them that clip you showed us of Nicole trying to rag on Sam, like she's never won a final. She's bragging about being in 4 finals and never winning. Sam was in 1 final and won. How are you talking trash?
Yeah,
Oh, I hate Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole's the worst. But yeah, they also don't like Nicole. Every time Nicole's on the screen, they're like, what is she saying? I'm like, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I always just get, when I'm feeling down, I go back and watch the clip from All Stars 4 of Cara saying, Nicole, shut up. No one knows what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to turn on you, start watching it. I will have to live tweet it in a very non-descript manner because I can't let people know what I'm watching.
Oh, you can definitely message our chat. I've seen everything. SP3's seen everything.
Yeah,
so
we've
you guys both watch the entire season now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you won't be spoiling anything for us.
Well, that's why I haven't read the books yet because I didn't want the books to spoil the show for me. So then once it's over, then I'm going to read all the books. And I still haven't read the McFoley book. I have it on my Kindle.
That's fine.
I'm going to read it.
Happy birthday, Cher.
Happy birthday, Cher. Enjoy
Bye,
your day.
guys.
Bye.
You too.
There we go. Our pal Cher Delaware joining us for a mini FMC Reality Rumble episode there, since we've recorded them 3. I'm pretty sure it's 3 since we had to move off.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3. Weekends became tough. I
know it is tough. It is tough to do weekends. I already do like a 3-hour plus podcast on Saturday.
Yeah. You've already at the marathon with the Trio Heat flagship show. So
yeah.
And then the kids got stuff going on every weekend, I feel like. And then there's just some weekends, especially on the news side, like I don't really have a break on that either. And I'm just so burnt out by the weekend that I'm just like, oh, I just want to like sleep for an hour right now. No, that's also a thing. All right. Wrestling happened last night, allegedly. That was a good show. It was a good episode of AEW Dynamite.
Good.
It's been a run of great episodes for AEW Dynamite. Over 1 million in the viewers and a great rating in the demo.
I knew you were gonna do that.
He's back to doing like it's been a run of great episodes of AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision. Like he's not wrong. It has been a run of very good episodes. So more power to Tony. Bless Tony. He should still get Blake Christian the theme song, considering he's the only person who could draw over 1 million viewers for his company.
Oh, here we go again. It really feels like, though, like as far as the online perception, I don't know if it goes farther than that. And of course, like the television viewership on your TBS and TNT is not going insanely high up, even though Collision had a great number for Playoff Palooza. As far as like online perception and criticism, the pendulum has changed in that regard of where we were in 2024, where AEW was very much getting criticism every week. The week to week had its issues. They always delivered on pay-per-views, but the week to week was really struggling and they couldn't do anything right, whereas WWE was hotter than they ever been before. And Triple H was getting all the praise for the week to week television and what he was doing with that product. Since the beginning of the year, that pendulum has really swung where Triple H is getting more criticism, not handling it very well. And AEW is the one getting praise for its week-to-week turnaround. So, and it continued last night. Last night was another very good episode of AEW Dynamite, very much highlighted by them bookending with a pair of bangers, two of the best TV matches of the year for AEW, with the 8-man tag to open the show and then Hangman and Fletcher to close the show.
So Hangman advanced to the finals of the Owen Hart Cup tournament to face Will Ospreay at AEW Double or Nothing, defeated Kyle Fletcher in a great match. Not too surprising that Hangman won, because I think we all kind of figured Hangman and Ospreay was going to be the finals. But this tournament, especially compared to a lot of Tony Khan tournaments, didn't have like a real filler match in there. Like, even though the finals seemed pretty predictable of, okay, it's going to be Ospreay and Hangman, there was all, he'd put like Penta or Matt Hardy was always like egregious turn. Like, okay, you're putting Jeff Jarrett. No knock on Jeff Jarrett, but like Jeff Jarrett's in this tournament. Like, what? Really? This is who we're doing? Like, these tournaments always had just like that filler kind of match. If anything was a filler, and this one, it was probably Kevin Knight, but even he was a replacement, and they've done a lot with him since. It hasn't been a thing where it's like, oh, they're just in this tournament just to lose, and now we're never going to see this person again, which happened a lot. Like in the past, Dante Martin. No knock on Dante Martin. We know Dante Martin wasn't going far in this tournament, and then they didn't really do anything with Dante after that. There wasn't really any like filler stuff in this tournament.
This might be one of their best in-ring tournaments that they've ever done, where I would say like probably the worst match in the tournament was Hangman and Josh Alexander, and that was a great match. That was just a great match, because Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe are immune to having anything but a banger. Kevin Knight had the performance of a lifetime against Will Ospreay at Dynasty, and Ospreay is Ospreay on pay-per-view, and that was a fantastic opener to that show. Brody King and Konosuke Takeshita had a full-on banger themselves on an episode of Collision. Will Ospreay and Konosuke Takeshita had a match of the year candidate, one of the best matches in Dynamite history. And then Hangman and Fletcher had an excellent main event to last night's show. And like, it probably, I would say, and I love the Mark Briscoe matches, and I would say this, outside of like the Mark Briscoe matches and the Ospreay matches, this was probably one of Fletcher's best performances in AEW, one of his best matches in AEW that didn't include a Will Ospreay and a Mark Briscoe, because he always delivers near 5-star classics with those guys. But this was a near 5-star classic with someone that he's not typically like familiar with in Hangman Adam Page, and they went out there, had a great match that was probably the most engaged that Virginia crowd was in the show. I don't think it was one of the better Dynamite crowds, but they were definitely into the hometown boy in Hangman Adam Page. The brawling was so enthralling throughout, especially Hangman tossing Fletcher into the barricade and scraping his back, so his back started bleeding and stuff. And man, Kyle Fletcher, I will say it every single time this man comes out, this is an insane evolution of his body. Every time he comes out, He looks like he's in better shape than the last time. He's gone through like Pokemon evolutions faster than the Pokemon. He's went from Randy Orton in 2004 to Randy Orton in 2012 in a matter of 6 months. It's insane. It's insane how fast, how his body has evolved before our eyes. And he is like a total different person. Like if you put the pictures of Kyle Fletcher with the bald head of today versus Kyle Fletcher with long hair and the long tights from 2 years ago, you would think it's two completely different people. It's outrageous. The body evolution of Kyle Fletcher and Hangman Adam Page, man. He's one of the best performers in the game, and I love how he puts like a lot of character work into a lot of his matches. They went out there, they beat the crap out of each other. I always say Don Callis to the commentary team is probably going to be the best commentary of the night, and especially when it's just Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Taz. That's my only nitpick for last night's show. I don't like them as a combination. I really feel like the Dynamite commentary team would be much better if it was just Excalibur and Taz, and then you have Tony just on Collision with Nigel McGuinness. I wish they would just make that change, or just put Ian or Nigel on Dynamite. Please, the commentary is so much better when it's Nigel, Ian, or Callis on the commentary team. Just make that change, Tony. That's the only thing that's stopping you from having 10 out of 10 shows or 9 out of 10 shows every single week. This is a very good 8 out of 10 show last night, but I mean, the commentary, please. But love that main event.
I don't like 3-man commentary booths just in general. I'm always just going to be against 3-man booths. It's just too much. One person does the play-by-play, and then the other two want to do too much and feel they got to get their stuff in. This is a criticism for every 3-man booth. I'm not talking specifically about the AEW commentary team. This is what it always feels like for every single 3-man booth is one person does play-by-play, which is what they should do. And then the other two feel they have to get their stuff in because they aren't sure when they're going to be able to talk again. So they get their stuff in at a detriment to the actual point of the show. And I think that's why WWE commentary has been better since they've just gone to a 2-man booth. I know people don't like Pat McAfee, and I have my druthers with him, but I still like the 2-man chemistry over the 3-man forced play onto you. So otherwise, this match, yeah, like you said, absolutely excellent. And I sort of bit on the dick kick brain buster. I was like, oh shit. And that was a great near fall on that one. That got me too. That was a great near fall that even got the crowd in attendance as well, because we're like kind of like desensitized to low blow finishes nowadays across all of wrestling, that it usually leads to the finish. So to have him kick out of that was great. And then the buckshot lariat, the innovative buckshot lariat out of the corner was great. That was a great way to kind of set up the proper buckshot lariat for the win. So yeah, both guys really performed, and they had a lot to live up to, but I think that it was just as great as the opener, which was, man, no one does the party multi-man tag quite like AEW. AEW has basically taken what was a staple of PWG and they've made it their own, and they can just throw 6 to 8 guys out there and it's usually going to be the match of the night. But this is like, I got like, when I complimented last week with the Young Bucks versus Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, someone in the comments or my comments on Twitter was just like, oh yeah, it was a great matchup, but what was the point of it? What's the story to kind of set it up? I need more story and everything. This was kind of the juxtaposition of that, where you did put in multiple guys, but everyone had kind of a storyline thread and some history to play off of. Of course, the main just of it was Kenny
Omega and Kazuchika Okada being across the ring from each other for the first time since the greatest match ever, in my opinion, with him, with those two at Dominion 2018, the 65-minute classic. And that was kind of the gist of everything. And that's what the match really built up to like a 1-2 minute exchange that was the loudest the crowd got for that matchup. But you also had the Omega and Young Bucks story of them separating and breaking up the Elite. You also have Kenny just defended the international title, not only against Ricochet, who's on that heel team, but he also defended it against Speedball Mike Bailey. You got Speedball and Kevin Knight, which I think is a great decision if they are going to be a tag team full time, because Jet Speed, I was like, that was like the simplest thing Tony could have done, and it just makes sense. And now we have a proper babyface tag team to get behind, because like the main tag teams in the tag team division before they make those guys an official tag team is Hurt Syndicate, FTR, and the Young Bucks. Pretty much all heel tag teams. So we needed a babyface tag team to kind of mix things up there. And if that's the way they're going to go with Kevin Knight, who's proven to be a great tag team wrestler with Kushida, with the Jet Setters, and Speedball Mike Bailey, who's just great at everything in professional wrestling, I think that's a good direction to go. You got them with just facing the Young Bucks last week, plus their whole issue with Ricochet, who's still upset about the $400,000 tag team matchup. He also has his issues with Mark Briscoe, who was also on that team that stole his money and just beat him last week. You got Briscoe's history with the Young Bucks, with their rivalry with the Briscoe brothers from back in Ring of Honor. He also got a shot at the Continental Championship last year against Kazuchika Okada. So everyone had like their story beats and their connection here. No, I'm not forgetting about the Paragon. They are not in that top 3. So so everyone had their story threads. So this was a well thought out all-star 8-man tag that had a point to it and had story involved with all the fun action that we saw.
Poor Ricochet just keeps getting slapped on his bald ass head,
even by his tag team partner. But I loved how him and Matt basically forgave each other, and then he started using his hair. He's like, no, I'm not bald.
That's fine. I get people are gonna have criticism of these spots. That one with the arm wringer of like and then the elbow drop spots, and people are gonna hate on that stuff. It's fun. It's a professional wrestling match. If you can't have fun with this kind of stuff, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I trust me. I'm gonna be reviewing the show with someone who legit, and I quote, said the first half of this matchup is my least favorite 15 minutes in AEW history. So I am doing a show later today with someone who hates fun. I love fun, and I told him that. I was like, "You just hate fun wrestling. This is not even like, oh my god, I hate back in my day they wouldn't do stuff like." No, this was literally an old school wrestling spot. The whole elbow drop spot. That's old school wrestling to a T. It's elbow, miss the elbow, miss the elbow, miss the elbow, miss the elbow, miss the. I love it. It was awesome. It was awesome in every which way. It's too much. They're doing a whole bunch of fun stuff. But like I said, I like the fact that this was one of the rare party tag team matchups that had some story to it and was about building up this Okada and Omega matchup. AEW does need to do the video packages, though. Once this becomes official for All in Texas, they need to run video packages every week. Every week, it should be like Talking Heads, your Jim Ross, your historians, Jim Ross, because he worked with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Hey, you need to get guys who worked in New Japan, like your Will Ospreays, your Kevin Knight, and talk about the Okada and Omega matchup, have like sit down interviews. One week you show highlights from the first match, which was the first 6-star matchup, and you talk about how that really put New Japan on the map. Second one, you talk about the 1-hour draw in Dominion. You need to break it up. You need to not just do one video package and be like, okay, our work is done. We told the people about this rivalry. You need to build it up. We need like 4 weeks of video packages for each of the classic matches that they had. Just commentary shortly talking about it is not enough. When that match becomes official for All In Texas, I need a month worth of every week you're doing a highlight package for each of these matchups to really make sure that people know how important and how big this matchup is going to be.
Are they going to unify the titles, do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. They have to. They have to at this point. There's too many titles in this company. I say that as someone who just had to write a feature of every next title holder of every AEW championship, and I'm like, God damn, there's this one, I forgot that one, and there's this singles title, and there's that singles title. The fact that there's 3 undercard singles titles in this company that's not the AEW World Championship for the men, it's kind of ridiculous. 2 is enough. International combining with the Continental, that's fair, and then the TNT title has its own history. I'm okay with 2. 2 is fine because the international title has become like the workhorse title. The TNT championship has become more of a story title since the Cope and Christian rivalry. So that's fair to have those 2 along with the AEW World Championship. That's a mixture of both, mainly story, quote unquote, if you call it that, with the Death Riders. But that's fair. They need to combine the 2 titles, but they, like I said, the main thing that they have to do is build up how big this Okada Omega matchup is to wrestling and to New Japan and to AEW. We even need like Tony Khan to be like, I watched that match and I came up with the idea to create AEW. Like, we need to make this feel like it's the biggest match ever.
Then it should headline the show if it's the biggest match ever.
I agree. I've been saying that.
Okay. All right.
Because I don't see John Moxley losing the title anyway, so I'm giving up hope.
John Moxley being dethroned is a pretty big like headlining thing.
Yeah. But I think that's good to have multiple matches that could headline the show.
Oh yeah.
At All In, because if you have Mercedes win the tournament, Mercedes versus Toni Storm is another one that could headline that show, and no one would blink an eye.
You know what they should do? 2-day All In.
I mean, it is on a Saturday.
All In Saturday and All In Sunday. That way, everything can rightfully have a headlining spot. Although with Mercedes and Tony in the mix, we might have to go to a 3-day All In.
Oh man,
do a show on Monday.
We're like bump that Supercard of Honor. We're doing it Friday.
No, Friday, go to Monday.
Go Monday. Oh, we're competing against Monday Night Raw. It's gonna be 3 o'clock too. Yeah,
it could be in the afternoon. Yeah. Just make it in the afternoon.
No one's gonna want to watch Raw if you watch that show. It's like,
that's fine.
Oh god,
that's a good play. I had an idea once of just put like all the wrestling on one day, and that way it's just done with it. Like I don't have to watch multiple days of stuff. Started at like 8 a.m. 8 a.m. You can put on Collision. And then that's from 8 to 10 8 to 10. And from 10 to 12, let's do NXT. And from 12 to 2, we'll do SmackDown. I guess that's 3 hours now. So from 12 to 3, we'll do SmackDown. From 3 to 5, Dynamite. From 5 to 7:30, Raw. We're done. We're done.
I mean,
no more wrestling the rest of the week. Sorry, TNA. Sorry, ROH.
That's a way too much. Like I can only do like 2 wrestling shows in a row.
But then you get the other.
I need something to switch it up.
You get the other 6 days off. SP3. Think about it. It's 12 hours of wrestling.
I'm with you on early, especially for me, because most of these wrestling shows starts at 1 a.m. when I'm out here. So, yeah.
It's 12 hours of wrestling during one day, and then you're done for the entire week. That's what I
want. I only have to do that once a year with WrestleMania week. That's when I watch way too much wrestling. I don't need to do that on a weekly basis, 1 day a week. I don't care if they have my other days free.
You're focused on the 1 day and not the 6 days. What if I gave you one gorilla? Or I gave you 6 gorillas. The 6 gorillas would win, right?
It's true. This is true. But then I'm thinking about what would I watch on the other 6 days? I don't watch anything. I watch so much wrestling. I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Sleep like a normal human. Yeah. That's what I would be doing. I'd be sleeping.
That is true. I don't sleep enough. That is true. To be fair though, I haven't slept well since I had kids. So
fair.
It's kind of been over for that. So yeah. I'm kind of used to it. Even when if I'm away from my kids for a day, I still wake up around the same time. Like I don't sleep. I can't sleep past a certain time anymore. I used to be able to sleep until like 12 noon. The only time I could do that is if I'm up late talking about pro wrestling after ending a pay-per-view at 5 a.m.
I think my suggestion would be best for all businesses. I don't really care about fan attendance. I don't know how that shit would be attended. I don't really care about television ratings because they don't bother me anyway. I only care about my personal schedule.
Oh no, they don't bother you, but you sure do use it if Vanilla Baby does a good rating.
Yeah, because that's funny. Otherwise, I don't care. I don't sit here and argue with all these dorks of like, oh, they're not showing any growth. Oh, the Netflix subscribers has gone down. Oh, the viewership has gone down on Netflix. Oh, Dynamite can't crack 600,000. I don't care about all that stuff.
Yeah, that's
put all the wrestling on 1 day, and then give me 6 days of peace. That's all I want.
Oh man, fair. That's fair.
So I like this 8-man tag as well. I thought it was great. I like the comedy spots, and I think if you don't like it, reevaluate your thinking. Reevaluate your funness. Have some fun in your life with this stuff. Toni Storm defeated Miyu Yamashita. She got kicked in the ass a lot in this match.
That was a really good match. I thought Yamashita was probably better highlighted in this match than the Thunder Rosa match from 3 years ago.
Well,
I felt like this was a better showing for her.
Yeah, and she's improved a lot since then as well. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was definitely a stark improvement over that Thunder Rosa match.
Yeah, I thought she looked really strong in defeat. Timeless Toni Storm, the best women's wrestler in North America right now. And she popped me yet again. She didn't need to be on commentary to pop me because her interpretive dance to JB Hayes' theme song
was the funniest shit I've ever seen. So like she was doing that, but in my head, like I could hear Hater's music, but I had to turn down a little bit. I'm thinking that's her dance to the CEO theme as well. So I'm thinking she's like doing both. Is like, oh, this is her CEO dance to Jamie Hayter's theme over here. That was the funniest thing on the show. In a match filled with comedy spots to start, Toni Storm is a gem with this stuff. That ruled so much.
Still pops me. Still pops me to this day. She's so good. She's so good at everything she does. I even like, and this is something that's rare for me. This was probably the best backstage segment not involving Harley Cameron that Mercedes has been in quite some time. She was really well in that sit-down interview with Renee because they've kind of developed their own kind of chemistry and rapport that works really well. So Mercedes came off as a very cocky champion who's feeling himself, who's won all these titles, that's underestimating Jamie Hayter. And this gave me hope that Jamie can surprise us and pull off the upset at Double or Nothing.
I think that was the point, is they were designed, they designed to give you hope. I don't think it's actually happening. Like, it feels like they're setting up Mercedes and Toni Storm, which I got no issue with. It's the biggest match they can do.
I do have an issue with it, because that means we're only getting one women's matchup at All In.
Oh, well, that's why it's got to be 3 nights. We get more women's matches on there.
No, Tony will. If it's 3 nights, Tony will give them the main event and be like, "Oh, my work here is done for the women's division."
Okay, so the first night is the all women show, headlined by Toni and Mercedes, and then the second night is the like a Forbidden Door type show with classic New Japan stuff, because that's going to be headlined by Okada and Omega. You can flip any of these nights. I don't really care. I'm not married to this idea that I literally just came up with. And the third night is your moments, like babyface night, because it's headlined by Will Ospreay dethroning Jon Moxley. So like the Ops are in a match. They beat people in that one. Claudio loses to somebody. Wheeler Yuta gets his ass kicked by somebody. Who else? MJF. I guess he's a heel. He gets beat up on that show. All the heels are losing on that show. The New Japan night, Tanahashi comes over to wrestle. Naito comes over to wrestle. They don't even take their shirts off. They don't care. They're getting paid. So they're there for that show. And then the women's night, you get Athena on that show. You get Chris Statlander. You get Julia Hart. You get all of them on that show. That's my layout for the 3-night all-in extravaganza.
The 3-night all-in extravaganza.
Yeah, you want to go all in?
Just give Jeremy the pen. Just give Jeremy the pen if we're going in the 3-night all-in extravaganza. I just want to see 2 great women's title matches at All In if it's gonna be one night. So that's why I'd rather have Jamie win, set up Jamie versus Toni, and then you do Mercedes versus Athena. Give me both of them.
That's fair. I understand that thinking, and I wouldn't hate that either. But it feels like they're gonna do Mercedes and Toni.
No, 1,000% Mercedes is the favorite to win at Double or Nothing. But I mean, Double or Nothing is going to be a lot better than I thought it was going to be with those 2 Owen Hart Cup finals with Mercedes and Jamie Hayter, which should be splendid. And Hangman and Will Ospreay has all the potential to be a match of the year candidate.
Louis says, which night is Jeff Jarrett? He's on the babyface heroic night. He's going to defend the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch Championship.
Ooh. Will we have the return of Jeff Hardy to try to win the gold? Finally,
he's going to beat both of the
Hardys.
Finish
the story.
No.
The story.
You know what's better? You know what's him better than him beating both the Hardys? This is real crossover stuff. Joe Hendry comes out and he loses in 2 minutes to Jeff Jarrett. The Texas Chainsaw Deathmatch champion is more important than the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. But everyone's like, what a great moment for Joe Hendry. He was at All In. He was on 2 stadium shows in 1 year. This is so great for Joe Hendry, even though he lost both matches by a combined 5 minutes. Don't worry about that. He appeared.
It's going to be Joe Hendry versus Jeff Jarrett. He's going to do the turn and he gets hit with a guitar.
It ruled. That would be fantastic. It ruled that they just like showed up on Collision and like Jeff Jarrett's back and he like wants stuff to happen. And then Jay Lethal just has like a match against Nick Wayne and loses, and we're probably not going to see either of them for like 2 months.
Yo, like there's just no direct. Like when they did the Collision segment, I was just like, what's the point? Like what's the where did all this?
They're building towards a Jeff Jarrett. They're building towards a Jeff Jarrett Sanjay Dutt match. Clearly.
Apparently, because where's all this shade going from Sanjay? I was like, what did Sanjay do? You guys just suck. You guys have sucked for years here. Like, what are we doing? Y'all never win. Y'all have had multiple shots at championship gold. You've had shots at the TNT title, Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal was just in a Ring of Honor World Title Proving Ground match a couple of weeks ago. Now he faces Nick Wayne for the TV title. He loses here. Y'all both had shots at the International Championship when Orange Cassidy was the champion. Y'all lost that. Jeff Jarrett was in last year's Owen Cup to get a shot at the AEW World Championship. He lost that. Last time we saw Jarrett, he lost to who was it? Claudio Castagnoli to get a shot at the AEW World Championship. Lost that as well. So, I mean, it's just like, what are we doing? Why are we wasting time?
I still maintain, and I'm until I'm told otherwise, and no one's ever going to confirm this anyway. I still maintain Jeff Jarrett went out there and shot his shot by saying, yeah, I re-signed. This is my last year, and I want the AEW World Title. I maintain that was not scripted. That
I think
Tony told him, go say whatever you want, and Jeff is like, all right. From half court, brother. Here we go. Let me take this one.
Let me see if these people care. And he turned around and it was Nick Young. He was like, Miss, let me just act like, look at me, guys. Yeah, it didn't work out for him, and I don't see it working out for him. Why are we wasting time? I will give credit though. Christian Cage makes anything interesting. Christian Cage made that awful storyline with Taz getting attacked, and the Hook rivalry means something for a bit with the great promo work that he does. And he has made me interested for the first time in a Nick Wayne story on AEW television. Nick Wayne was great on the independent scene, especially his GCW stuff. But Nick Wayne in AEW, he has mainly been just an outlier of anything Christian does. But this is an actual story that's building up Nick Wayne for the first time. So he's got me interested in it. He's so good in that backstage segment where he just speaks for him. He's like, yes, he accepts. He was like, you're a champion. You got to be on your game. And then he's always trying to take the title from him. It's cool. It's actually getting me interested, and we're seeing some change in Nick Wayne. This feels like the first time they're giving him some layers as a character.
As long as they actually go through with the emancipation of Nick Wayne. Because
unfortunately, I think they're going to speed run this stuff. Because after Double or Nothing, I think they're going to... well, they're going to have to take like a month off, because he's going to Japan for Best of Super Juniors.
Yeah. But like we've got to see him actually go against Christian, because how long did they do that with Luchasaurus? Like, Luchasaurus is finally going to turn here, and then nope, he just kept doing Christian's bidding, and then he unfortunately had health problems, and I hope things are good for Killswitch / Luchasaurus. But they never were able to split them. And I don't need Nick Wayne falling into that same trap of Christian continues to assert his fatherly dominance, and Nick Wayne just is obedient throughout the entire time. I need the emancipation of Nick Wayne.
I would hope they do that. Honestly, I want them, if they're gonna do Cope and Christian as a team at All In, I'd rather go the route. I think it was you that was like Christian just looking for a payday, and this is his way of getting on the All In Texas card. I think it was you or Jimmy said that to me. He was like, Christian's just looking to get on the it was probably Jimmy. He's looking to get on the All In Texas card. So he's the one that goes to Cope about teaming together and convinces him to team with him against FTR, and then this can all happen while Nick Wayne is still in Japan, and then he comes back and is like, what the hell is going on? Why are you teaming with Cope? It's like, let me introduce you to your Uncle Cope.
I still think that Cope needs to be a heel. But the angle they left it off with, there's no room to do that, at least immediately, because you can't come back, even though I think he's a heel. You can't come back as a heel after that attack that they did. Like, he's going to be a babyface. But I think a Cope Christian as a heel team works better. So, I mean, Cope's not coming back until the Leafs get eliminated from the playoffs anyway. And that could happen sooner rather than later, but I don't think they're going to blow a 3-0 lead, said a non-Leafs fan, knowing the misery that the Leafs have incurred over the years. Blowing a 3-0 lead would actually be very on brand for them. Yeah, so.
Would be very on brand. So yeah, some good stuff last night on Dynamite. We had an all-timer with Spring Breakthrough. Before that, the week before that post-Revolution show. They always need like one stinker in the mix, I will say, or one below their standard. Their standard for an episode of Dynamite is anything between like a 7.5 good show to a great show, or an all-timer like we got with Spring Breakthrough. But they sometimes need below that, like a thumbs in the middle, thumbs down type of show to kind of get on that run. We had that at the end of January with the episode where Jeff Jarrett faced Claudio Castagnoli, ironically enough. And then they went on that whole great run leading into Revolution. We had one on the build to Dynasty, and then they went on a good run of shows heading into Dynasty. And they had one with the post-Dynasty show, and then they've been on a good run since then. The one stinker was that episode that had Kenny Omega talking about Dookie. So we've got 3 straight strong weeks from Dynamite.
Samoa Joe, that's not MJF. I mean, maybe MJF wants to try to hurt Samoa Joe to join the Hurt Syndicate. That would be a choice.
No, this is the best story in AEW because I can see it now. Because that was great. It was great stuff with MJF snapping. Because he's been building up to this. He's been getting more upset with Bobby Lashley denying him entry into the Hurt Syndicate. So Bobby giving him the thumbs down, and he calls him a ball son of a bitch. And Bobby just yoked him the hell up. Oh my God. MJF yelling, Montel! It's like he was like the little brother who said something to the big brother and got him pissed. And he's like, Mom! And he's like, we are the Hurt Syndicate. We hurt people. You want to impress me? Then hurt people. Most brilliant idea I've come up with in a long time. Who does MJF hurt? I'll give you one guess, Jeremy.
I do not know who he's going to hurt.
Who does everybody hurt in this company? He answers the Max Caster open challenge. Okay. He can be like, not only did I hurt him, but this was my only friend. I'm disregarding all of my only friends for you guys. See, I hurt him. You wanted me to hurt people. I hurt him.
I like that. I do feel like he's going to go after. I mean, I guess Max Caster is weak. I feel like he's going to go after someone weaker than even Max Caster. Because I also think like they're a little bit. I'm trying to think of like a championship they could kind of go after, but we don't need to do the Adam Cole stuff again. So let's not go there.
No, please.
And then the other, like, he's not going to do anything with Kenny at this point. He's not going to do anything with Okada. So the ops is maybe an option. Simply because you could do a potential trios things with the Hurt. So when I jokingly said Samoa Joe, but I might have stumbled onto something of maybe you do an Ops and Hurt Syndicate trios gimmick here. This is all assuming like MJF is going to be paired with them for any length of time, and it's not just they're doing stuff and the actual feud is MJF and the Hurt Syndicate because MJF gets people on his side, which is also another possibility. There's definitely options on the table with what they have going on with MJF, which is good.
I'm impressed by how long they have been able to kind of stretch this out, and it's still entertaining every single week. I thought this was another strong segment. I like that the fact that he's convinced MVP and Shelton Benjamin to be on side, but he still can't get through to Bobby Lashley, and at least Bobby Lashley has given him something to kind of prove himself to him, that ultimatum. So I like the fact that they have, this is the best story right now in AEW to me. I've been entertained every single week with it.
But this proves MJF doesn't listen though, because MVP told him, like, you got to appeal to what he wants. And he thought it was women and money and watches and all this stuff. And like, no, what he wants is in the title. He wants to hurt people. And I think Gold is part of that too. And MJF just doesn't listen. He tried to buy Bobby Lashley's love. Or
that's what MJF's done his whole life. He's thrown money at stuff. It kind of fits his character to do that.
Oh, it does. It 100% does. I'm not saying it is like it proves he doesn't listen. Is like it's a knock on the story. It's completely in line with who MJF is. I'm saying it as an analyst who wants to crack jokes on MJF and just trying to throw money at the issue. I still think they got to shoot a club scene. I don't care. I've talked myself into them going to the club and doing something with this. You can hurt people. Hurt the DJ at the club for not playing the right song. I don't care. Just go to the club. That's what I want.
That's funny. I would like that. I'd be down for that. They haven't done any really like outside stuff with MJF since like the height of Better Than You, baby. So
yeah. They used to do. It feels like they would do like a segment a month. I feel like the latest one was the Hangman feud. Right? He talked to, like, he kicked off the homeless man. Am I misremembering this? There was definitely...
Was that the Hangman feud or was that the Roderick Strong's feud? Where he cuts the promo from, like, this trailer park.
That was the Roddy Strong feud. There was something with a homeless person during the Hangman feud. And then he cut a promo on Hangman.
I know he cut a promo outside and challenged him to meet him outside, but I wouldn't really call that an all out of like the spectrum of AEW, because that's just outside the building,
right?
I
like that's
something
fair.
Like more of off ground, off AEW grounds, basically.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I was just thinking of like the last time they did something outside. I was referencing the homeless guy was near his car and he paid him to move out of the way. That was during the Hangman feud, right?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But yeah, I'm with you. Like they used to shoot like, you know, the stuff with Adam Cole obviously was MJF wasn't part of it, but Power Finishers, that was a Roddy feud. All right, that's fine. That's it. That's the last thing I remember.
He drove to like a trailer park and there was he paid the homeless person to move out the way. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the Adam Cole stuff was like shot at houses and they did the backstage skit and the Outback Steakhouse and all that
and
stuff.
In a bar.
And obviously, yeah.
The bar,
And I like all the stuff with Chris Jericho. I like not even including obviously Dinner Debonair, but they even did the Las Vegas skit and all of that stuff.
Yes, the hangover parody.
Yeah. So we need a good club skit between MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Samoa Joe and Jon Moxley, I'll get it right this time, inside the cage coming up at the mean beaches of Chicago. I like the setup for this of that Moxley is now a coward, as he's kind of been on and off throughout this whole feud. And Samoa Joe is tired of this coward running. So he says, let's meet in a cage and fight each other like men. And that's what we're getting. Nice television cage match between these two.
Yeah, I like Samoa Joe anytime he's on the mic, and like this could have been just a kind of a useless segment of a squash match for the Ops, but they used it to kind of build up the Beach Break main event, so I like that. The smaller usage and the selective spots that they've been using for the Death Riders on television has helped me in my ire that was for the Death Rider story after the end of Dynasty. Them using them more sporadically and sparsely has helped me kind of been like, okay, it's not a detriment to the company. And when it was heavily featured before, I like how they've been using them. And this was a good segment here because it's proven that anytime it's 1D, Samoa Joe whoops Jon Moxley's ass. Moxley getting choked out, being like, "Look, your boy." That was hilarious. That popped me. That was probably my second biggest pop outside of Toni Storm's interpretive dance.
Anything else from Dynamite last night?
I think we covered pretty much everything on the show for the most part. There was some video packages like the Stokely and FTR one where they tried to tie everything together with Stokely looking at the tapes from last year, which I always enjoyed some revisionist history in my wrestling, so that was cool. You
had to watch a lot of film. Yeah, there's a lot of film to watch on a lot of teams.
You're right. So yeah, I like that stuff, and looks like they got a couple of good matches for Collision. We're continuing with Timeless Toni Storm's Eliminator challenges. She's gonna face Lady Frost, and we also got Brody King versus Josh Alexander, which should be a great match.
Yes, that should be great. Are you ready to enter the C-suite? SP3.
Put your C's up. Put your C's up in the chat. It's the C-suite. Let's do it. We about to talk. SP3 talks about WWE C-level shows. It's the C-suite. It's Thursday. We here. Let's do it.
Got Evolve and 2 episodes of LFG.
So we're going to start off with LFG because we got 2 episodes to discuss. All right, so first episode, it was all about the rivalry. Loser leaves LFG. First time ever. Oh, man. We started off the show with Cutler James versus BJ Ray. No longer sexy BJ Ray. The West Coast gangster BJ Ray. BJ Ray, more of that in a bit from the second episode, but this was episode 10. Started off with Cutler and BJ having their grudge match after what went down in the previous episode with them going off script in their tag team matchup. So they faced in the opener. It was not good at all. And the coaches were bored by it. Booker T was over it after the bell, even before the bell rang, and they had a bad matchup. BJ won with a weak looking sleeper that Cutler tapped out to. Bully Ray shooting on these poor kids, telling them that that's the worst thing he's ever seen. He hopes that match doesn't make air, and he was like, they're gonna do it again. They're gonna face in a loser leaves town matchup. Whoever looks the best between BJ and Cutler, that's who he's going to keep, and the other one goes home. So that was kind of the crust of this episode. So we ended off the episode with that as the main event. They opened and closed. BJ Ray opening and closing LFG this week, and the second match wasn't as good. It wasn't any good either. Both matches were not very good. They did not deliver. BJ Ray, I think the coaches are right. He is a much better talker than he is actually a performer in the ring. For someone who has a wrestling background, he doesn't look very athletically gifted when he's in the ring. He doesn't really stand out. He does a couple of like amateur wrestling moves, but he doesn't really bring the character work that he does so well on the mic when he's in the ring. He's a work in progress in that sense, but Cutler James doesn't have that much personality. He's the better wrestler because he gets like the fundamentals. He's got the fundamentals down well. He's the better wrestler in the ring, but he doesn't have the personality and the entertainment value of BJ Ray. So when it came down to it, Booker T says to keep Cutler, cut BJ. Mickey says that BJ is not worth all the hassle and that Bully should keep Cutler. And the Undertaker was basically like, I'm fed up with both of them. Do what you want to do, Bubba. And Bubba basically told them, like, he was told by Booker before they was in front of him to cut them both and just call it a day. But he says that in this business, he's always been taught that entertainment trumps wrestling. So BJ, you stay, and Cutler, I hope that you never hear this the rest of your career, but good luck on your future endeavors. Shakes his hand. Cutler talks about how, you know, this is a setback, but he's going to use it, that frustration that he has right now, to push him ahead. We see him talking to Shawn Michaels, and maybe that is the talk that led to Cutler James becoming a member of Dark State. So I like the fact that this is kind of like a world building, because we got to see Cutler kind of before he joined Dark State and got his big role on NXT TV, and how he came up on Team Bubba on LFG. And then we see the reason why he's so frustrated and wants to fight against the system of NXT and the Performance Center with his character on screen on NXT, and why he joined Dark State. So I thought that was really good storytelling for the reality show that I was watching here to go spread into the main show of NXT.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It has to tie together, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you have this guy on television in Dark State in a pretty prominent role on Dark State on that show, and then on the other show, you're telling me this guy sucks and should not be featured at all. Like, you kind of gotta tie it together, because otherwise I'm getting two mixed messages of what you're doing. Either he's a prominent figure and is causing chaos and should be feared backstage with the rest of Darkseid, or he's absolutely horrible. He can't have a great match with anybody. He's not entertaining. He is at the lower than BJ Ray, who has been ridiculed all season and buried all season, and he can't even outperform him. Yeah. So you got to tie it together, because separately it doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now.
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, like I said, BJ, he's still a work in progress, but he is charismatic. Unfortunately, someone that has digressed. Oh man, hate to say it, but what happened to my Tyra May Steele? Tyra May Steele, she did not look good in either one of these episodes. And really, she's been getting kind of like a lot of criticism that you could tell is kind of getting into her psyche and breaking her confidence. On this episode 10, she faced Leigh Laurel, and neither one of them looked that good. And yeah, it just really feels like Tyra believed in her own hype as the Olympic gold medalist, and she's not improving through this process. You also had Drake Monroe and Troy Yearwood. Troy Yearwood has been having better performances in the ring. He still hasn't shown like the aggressiveness that Mickie James want from him, but they had a fine little matchup. And then you had a mixed tag team matchup of Chris Island and P Nasty versus Shiloh Hill and Zena Sterling. And once again, man, Zena Sterling is the breakout star, probably male or female, of this whole entire thing. From where she started off, kind of looking like a ditzy kind of girl who's not really that committed, or kind of has the enthusiasm, the energy. You know, she got criticized and ridiculed by Gunther, but she's really turned it around, and you can tell that she's really trying her best to show something different. Like in the beginning of the matchup, she started doing rolls in the ring, and then Bubba talked about how earlier in the day she told him that she's been watching some more Lucha Libre, and she wanted to imply that into the matchup. So you could tell that she's really kind of committed into improving herself in the ring and doing other stuff. Shiloh Hill probably had his best showing in this matchup too. He was like showing more aggressiveness in the matchup and really showed that fire. So it led to Shiloh and Xena getting the point for their team. So it was not looking good, because at this point Bubba has really turned it around, where he was tied with Mickie James coming out of episode 10, and Undertaker has taken a firm lead on the leaderboard. And then that led into episode 11, which I thought was one of the better episodes of the season. You had AJ Styles joining the crew. I don't like the fact that why does every time someone signs with WWE, they want to say, you know, WWE made me into the star you already been. AJ, you've been wrestling for like 20 years. He's like, I didn't really become the phenomenal one until I came to WWE. That's a lie. That's a lie, sir. I love you. I love you, AJ Styles. I'm only saying this because I'm a fan and your friend. That's a lie. You were phenomenal way before you got to WWE. That's why you got to WWE.
But was he the phenomenal one?
Yes, he literally was.
But was he the phenomenal one?
He wasn't the one. He wasn't the phenomenal one until he got to the E.
That forearm was not phenomenal. It was just the forearm before WWE.
Oh, but yeah, he basically taught the lesson he was teaching is monikers and how you embody your moniker in the ring. So we got to hear everybody come up with their own monikers. Tatiana, she wanted to be the precedent. Was her name. Tatiana Dumas is the Australian girl. She's on Team Bubba, so she wanted to be the precedent, saying that she sets the precedent for what is the standard here. And Bubba made her go with the gold standard, and I was like, that's Shelton Benjamin. That's actually Shelton Benjamin is the gold standard. So you shouldn't probably steal another wrestler's moniker. And the funniest part is that when we do the when they do it, they each had to basically do like an audition where they're telling AJ their moniker and why that is their moniker and trying to sell them on it, and then they had to apply it in the ring during their matchup. So then Tyra comes up and she is the real deal Tyra May Steele, and Booker gets all upset. Booker's like, "Oh, that's disrespectful. That's disrespect. The real deal is Evander Holyfield. I'm a big boxing fan, man. That's disrespectful." And then Tatiana, who has this whole rivalry with Tyra, she starts saying like, "Oh man, you're gonna steal somebody else's moniker? You did the same thing. What type of shit is that? What? You did the same thing. You stole. Oh, I came up with my own moniker." She said that. I was like, so no one's gonna mention that they both have stole someone else's moniker? Elijah Holyfield used this opportunity to kind of step out and cut his best promo of the series so far. He said that he is the Holyfield Warrior. That's his nickname, and he's going to embody that when he's in the ring. And AJ told him, you got to live up to that. AJ, though, he liked the most, the moniker he liked the most is our boy Sexy BJ Ray is no longer Sexy BJ Ray. He is the West Coast gangster BJ Ray. And he cuts this great promo where he was like, man, I've come from the mean streets. I'm the West Coast gangster. My dad had some years where he didn't even make $500,000 in a year. I was like, that is awesome. $500,000. He said that like it was the smallest amount ever. And AJ Styles was like, I like that. He was like, dude, he was like, you're trying to act like your street. No one likes you. This is great. I love it. So that was good. AJ had some questions about our girl Zena Sterling, the star right now of this damn show, because she came up with the moniker of oxymoron. She was like, the reason why she's an oxymoron is because when you see her, automatically a lot of people would say that she was a moron, but she's the oxymoron because she turns everything you thought about her and she flips it on his head. And AJ says that whole moniker, you're emphasizing too much the moron part, and that's the first thing I heard. So he was like, he didn't really like that. But then he saw her in the ring, and Xena showed out once again. It was her and Tatiana versus Team Mickey's Danny Zelensky and Serena Linton. Serena Linton had a good performance. Her nickname is like Little Devil, but in Spanish, I don't know I'm not gonna even try. I don't want to mispronounce anything. But she looked really good. She was doing like backflips and the elbow in the corner and stuff like that. She did a split on the top rope when she first came out as well. And AJ was like, I've never seen that before. So you really stood out. He was like, I don't know how much you did the little devil stuff, but he was like, you looked good out there and you stood out. But Xena, he was very impressed with. He was like, you could tell that how much she has improved in the ring and how much she cares about what she's doing in the ring. Booker had an interesting criticism for her where he was like, you do very well of putting yourself over out there. He was like, you're like head and shoulders above the rest as far as the ladies, but he was like, we got to see if you can put over your opponent as well. So we're gonna see if Xena can improve with that. BJ Ray and Drake, Roxanne's boyfriend. I'm not going to even try to say his last name. Roxanne's boyfriend. That's your name. Ever since BJ cut that promo, that's your name. They faced Team Booker's Anthony Luke and Jasper Troy. Jasper Troy is the Reaper. Jasper Troy, and dude looked like an absolute star, yo. He comes out with the hoodie, the hoodie with no shirt on. He's got a chain around his neck, and he was just like, like AJ said, he was like, I don't think you're gonna put someone in the hospital. I think you're gonna put someone in the grave. And Booker was bigging him up. The monster, oh the monster, oh man. So he was loving Jasper Troy in the matchup. He really stood out in the match. Then you had Layla Rell and P Nasty of Team Booker. They faced Bailey Humphrey and Tyra May Steele. Tyra had a better performance here than in episode 10, but she's still not clicking. Layla Rell and P Nasty, they look good here. And the thing with this week was they added a special element of, we don't know, they talked about Undertaker working Beware of Dog 1996 and how the power cut off. So in all of these matches, something was going to happen to basically go wrong. But no, I think that was it this episode? I think it was the last episode. But Bailey looked good again. She's a beast. She looks like a monster. And Booker really likes her because he was like, when you had the headlock on, he was like, what you should have done is be flexing your bicep. He put the headlock on Mickey, and he's like, when I'm not worried about the person I got the headlock on, I'm trying to flex my bicep. He was like, these are things that you would have known if you were underneath my expert tutelage. He made everybody pop laughing. Like he's so over the top and ridiculous. I am liking Booker T on this show. I will give him credit. I'm liking him. But Bailey looked good. Lay and P Nasty looked good as well. And then Chris Island and Troy Yearwood, they versed Elijah Holyfield and Shiloh Hill. And everyone looked good in that one, especially Shiloh and Elijah in this one. So it was good stuff all around from a lot of people, but the real stars right now is Zila Sterling and Bailey Humphrey. They've been looking great in the last couple of weeks, and they've really been the standouts from the female side. The Shiloh Hill's nickname is the Hellraiser. So when I saw him on NXT, I was like, there go the Hellraiser. Shiloh Hill, let's go. And the Reaper, Jasper Troy, and Anthony Luke is Showtime. Anthony Luke, you got to know the nicknames, the monikers. Chris Island is the Promised Child. Awful nickname. Troy Yearwood is the Superhuman Superstar. That's actually a good nickname because he set all the records in the PC. And Elijah Holyfield did really well because he was punching the crap out of these guys' rib section. So it was like, yeah, that's the Holyfield Warrior. That's the Holyfield Warrior out there. So good stuff from the people this week overall. Mostly, though, like I said, Xena and Bailey. So good week. LFG, the best WWE show weekly, still is.
And then Evolve.
It's all about the Vanity Project, Jeremy. That's what it's all about. I don't care anything else going on Evolve. It doesn't matter. The Vanity Project is the standout. Zeta Steel, she picked up her first victory on Evolve with the ZDDT, which is a Tilt-A-World tornado DDT. She picked up the victory over. Don't matter. Zeta Steel is it's all about the Vanity Project. I would just want to emphasize that. Does not matter about anything else besides the Vanity Project. Vanity Project picking up the win in the opener. They were in the main event as well. Swipe Right versus Harlem Lewis and Keanu Carver, the two beasts. And yeah, they lost to the 2Bs. But Swipe Right, I know why I like them so much. They're like a combination of like kind of a version, a new age 2025 version of the Hollywood Blondes, except neither one of them are as good as Stone Cold Steve Austin or Brian Pillman, but they kind of have that cockiness of the Hollywood Blondes, but their work in the ring is very much like the Naturals from old school TNA, like mid 2000s TNA. They're very much like the Naturals.
Who the Chase Stevens and Andy? What was his name? I gotta look it up now.
Yeah, you can look it up. Okay. Yeah, I did that. We're watching the show. That was when I was like, yo.
Yeah, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens. There you go.
I was like, they're the Naturals. I was like, I see it. I see it now. I love the lower third, because sometimes you're in the Evolve matchups, they give you like a lower third that gives you some information about the wrestler. And for Brad Baylor of Swipe Right, it said he once scored a hole-in-one putt on a golf in a golf run, and then the next one said he then slept with the golf girls, the golf cart girls.
How do you get a hole-in-one putt? Is it like putt? Is that what we're talking about here?
I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing. It was something about golf. I don't care about golf. So yeah, something like that. He hit a hole-in-one, and then he slept with the golf cart girls. That's the more important part. Brad Baylor, he's the star of Swipe Right, but they took the loss to the two monsters. And Gallus says they want to face Harlem and Keanu next, so we'll see what happens there. Now Stevie Turner is no longer the GM of Evolve. She's the Prime Minister of Evolve, because she's from the UK, guys. She's British. And she's going to have a town hall meeting next week, which I assume is going to announce the Evolve Championship. Yeah. And the other main matchup on the show was Kylie Rae versus Wendy Chu. I hated this matchup. I'll be honest. I hated this because Kylie cuts a good promo earlier in the show where she says the teddy bear that gave the note that says she accepted was stolen from her 1.5-year-old son. So I was like, okay, they're adding some depth to this story. That's cool. And then Wendy brought the teddy bear down to the ring. But like at various times, Kylie would get distracted by the teddy bear and wanting to grab it and stuff like that. So eventually later in the matchup, Wendy rips the head of the teddy bear off. So Kylie starts going crazy, gets more aggressive. She has the advantage. She does a discus big punch, and then she gets so distracted and destroyed. She starts crying. She picks up the teddy bear. She's like, no. So Wendy just grabs her up and chokes her out. And I'm just like, that sucked. And then post-match, she got a black marker and she drew a frown on her face.
That match was super disappointing.
It really was. Like, especially that ending. That ending was so stupid. It was so stupid.
It was like they just WWE'd the match so much with the teddy bear stuff. Like, just let Kylie Rae and Wendy Chu like have a good match. They can do it. We've seen it. I don't need this teddy bear lore.
I don't need it either. It's just like, okay, it's cool. You want to add some context to everything, but please.
Kylie should have killed her. Honestly, I mean, you know how it is. SB3, you got kids. Like, I'm sure they got like things like stuffed animals and stuff they like. You take one of those stuffed animals, you hide it for like a minute, they're gonna murder you. Kids, like,
absolutely.
Did you fucking touch? Did you touch the Doc McStuffins toy? Did you touch the bear? Absolutely no. Don't do that. And punch you right in the face.
Exactly. My life is gonna become a living hell if I don't bring this bear back. So exactly. I'm going to be fighting with all my worth. If you rip the bear's head apart, I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to get the win. And then I'm going to find an identical bear, or I'm going to do a lot of stitching up of this goddamn head. You either have two options, and she shows the option of no. I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah, I didn't care for this finish, but what can you do?
It's not all going to be hits. It is Evolve. But yeah, Vanity Project, the stars of the show. And yes, thanks for reminding me, Alexa Bliss Gamer. Next week, LFG playoffs begin. And apparently we're going to get eliminations. And it looks like Undertaker is going to have to eliminate either Tyra May Steele or Bailey Humphrey, which, based on the last couple of weeks, we might see Olympic gold medalists get eliminated next week.
We shall see. We shall see. All right, that is the C-suite, folks. SP3 reviewing LFG and Evolve. In news from around the wrestling world, SP3 said it on Tuesday. It did come to fruition. Mayu Iwatani has signed with Marigold. She will make her debut on Sunday. She mentioned the possibility of wrestling Io Sky, wrestling Kairi Sane, wrestling Julia. WWE has the relationship with Marigold. Io Sky wrestled for Marigold. She wrestled a one-off match last year. So Mayu Iwatani leaves Stardom, lands in Marigold.
Yeah. Mayu Iwatani, one of the greatest stars that have ever come out of Stardom, going to Marigold is a big loss. I got a lot of heat because I have mentioned all the people that have left Stardom, and I said Marigold has a chance. It may take over Joshi Wrestling. And I got a lot of heat from the Stardom fans. They're like, we've been through death. We've been through this. How dare you? I've heard for 10 years, X company is going to take over from Stardom and Stardom's going to win. And I'm just like, I said may. May means maybe, maybe not. Like, it could go either way. Is it more likely that Stardom's going to still be the number one promotion in Joshi Wrestling? 1000% yes, because they are so deep and their roster is so exceptional and they've always been able to kind of fill in the spots. But let's not deny the fact that this is a transition period for Stardom, because not only did they lose Mayu Iwatani, I've also talked to my friends and I've been like, the bigger loss is Tam Nakano. Tam Nakano has been the number one draw for Stardom as late. Is Saya Kamitani the perfect person to fill in that void? 1000%. Saya Kamitani is arguably the best women's wrestler in the world today, based on what she just put on at All-Star Grand Queendom, one of the greatest matches in Stardom history. They just came off their biggest attendance in 2 decades. Golden Week has been looking great for them as far as attendance is up from last year. The merchandise sales are great. Stardom is on top. There's no denying that. But losing someone like Mayu Iwatani is a bigger deal than most people want to put on.
We will see what Mayu Iwatani brings to Marigold. I will not be surprised if she wrestles a WWE talent at some point this year, whether that's in Marigold or that's in WWE and NXT appearance, something. I shall see. Will saying, SP3, watch out. They want your head on a plate.
I know. I've been seeing it. I've been seeing it as we've been doing this show too. My post, my comment, not even my post, but my comment underneath, I think it was Matthew Hooks, has like 4 quote tweets and like 2 likes and 1 bookmark. I was like, oh, these Stardom fans is coming after me. Oh, great. I should have never mentioned Stardom. I'm going to admit it. I've admitted it once. I'll admit it 1,000 times. I am a casual Stardom fan. I'm not as into it or as tapped in as someone like a Scott Edwards or as some of these people that are probably quote tweeting me that have watched Stardom for all these years. I have admitted it time and time again. I just don't like the weird assumptions of, you don't even know Stardom. You don't know what we've been through. Oh, come on. Y'all making me not want to talk about Stardom. How about that? How about I don't talk about Stardom at all? Is that going to help you?
We appreciate that you want to talk about Stardom around here. Anything else from the world of wrestling that we may have missed?
Liv Morgan is doing Bad Lieutenant Tokyo.
Yeah. So it was announced by Deadline that Liv Morgan, the role she'll be taking time away from WWE for, is Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. It's beginning in production here in May, which it is now May. Takeshi Miike. I hope I said that right. Takashi Miike. Takashi Miike is the director.
I'm the worst at pronouncing Japanese names, so
yeah,
I'm not the best source.
I apologize to anybody that I mispronounced. If somebody has a cleaner pronunciation, please spell it out for me in the chat. I'm not gonna pretend like I've seen a bunch of his movies and everything. I don't know a ton about the stuff that he does, but it seems like a big deal. So good on Liv Morgan.
What I've heard is that it's big for like the film community, that he's only been a part of like very critically acclaimed films, and Lily James is going to be in the movie as well. So it's a bigger deal if you are tapped into like the film world, and if you're a movie buff, it is a big deal. Bad Lieutenant is this going to be the third of a trilogy of films that has been dating back for a couple of decades, I believe. I think the last one was, I want to say, in 2009 or the end of 2000s, early 2010s, with Nicolas Cage in it. So she's in a good line, and she's in the top 3 basically biggest stars in the movie. So it is a big deal, and it's going to be a great way for her to gain some extra exposure to herself outside of the wrestling world, and probably that can translate into the wrestling world as well.
So Liv is going to be playing a politician's daughter who has disappeared. So yeah, she is third billed on the cast, which it says it's a pretty big role. We'll see how many scenes and everything she has once it actually comes out. But hey, good on Liv Morgan. She if she does well in this role, could lead to more opportunities. I don't know what they're going to do with those tag team titles, but that's a different issue for a different day, I guess.
It's just not going to be defended for a month or two.
That would rule. It's the only titles that like go through different, brands, and it's just like, yeah, we're just not going to defend them. Who cares?
Yeah.
I guess the other big news of the day yesterday, Steve Austin said, "Fuck this main event. I'm out of here."
He didn't even stay. He was literally the segment before. He's like, I didn't watch it.
He said he didn't even go home and watch it. He's like, I haven't seen it. He's like, I watched through Instagram. That's what he admitted. He's like, I watched the clips through Instagram. Like, all right, still good.
He's like, the clips look good. Yeah. Looks good to me.
He was the segment before. He did his segment. It's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I want to beat the traffic. I don't know like what kind of mind state he was in after. Like he did the segment, but obviously there was the crash that happened, and Austin didn't look great in that because it looked like he didn't know how to drive this 4-wheeler. So I could totally see Austin just not being in a great mental place after that. Like, I fucked up on the biggest weekend in my one segment. Who knows how this lady is feeling? I may have caused damage to the company and may have gotten them into trouble. Like, I don't want to be around this shit anymore. I could totally see him feeling that way. I could also see him just being like, I live in Vegas. I'm just going home. Fuck this. I ain't dealing with all this traffic and stuff. What do I got to stay and watch the main event for? Ain't my main event. Ain't my house. I'm done. I didn't draw this house.
He's like,
see you later.
He's like, my good friend Rocking gonna be here. Why should I?
Yeah. He heard Travis Scott was gonna be there. He's like, I'm out of here. I don't care about that shit.
He's like, Travis is here. Where's Dwayne? Oh, he's not here. All right, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't care about Travis Scott. You Creedence Clearwater Revival, bring them out. Then I'll stick around. But I ain't care about no Travis Scott.
Fair.
That ruled. That ruled that Austin just peaced out. It's like, nah, I'm done. See y'all later.
Austin owns for that. Bravo, Austin.
Real and relatable. All right. Anything else you wanna get to? Let's be through.
I think that's pretty much everything. I mean, we could preview the live Impact tonight, but we'll leave that to Joel tomorrow. We'll talk all about Impact for y'all. Is he doing he's not doing a post show, right?
No.
Because that would start at midnight. So I was like, I don't see Joel doing that. Smart man.
He's gonna have to stay up just to do the thumbnail though, because it's probably gonna be like Impact related. So I don't know what he's gonna do with the thumbnail. Whatever.
Nah, some news will happen between now and tomorrow, so he could just make the thumbnail so he doesn't have to stay up till midnight.
Folks,
unless someone's gonna debut or appear from WWE.
I think Trick Williams is gonna show up. I'd be kind of surprised if Trick Williams doesn't show up, honestly.
Or Dark State.
I mean, sure. They might. Yeah, that's right. They are doing that thing on Tuesday. You know what? It could be Dark State now that you mention it. It could be 100%. Somebody's going to show up. Somebody will show up. I'm not watching that show. I got to stress watch hockey tonight. Everyone, don't fucking bother me tonight. And if I'm in a bad mood tomorrow, you already know why. Tomorrow's show is going to be awful if the Avs lose. Awful. SP3 took it very well today. You know, he at least he gave more commentary than the head coach of the team was willing to give. After you took more ownership in this loss than the head coach did. I give you a lot of credit.
Got to, man. Got to.
I give you a ton of credit. Me, I'm going to be depressed and angry. So my energy level is going to be low. I'm already going to be up late because I got to watch Impact, and the game's going to last longer than Impact. Not only do I have to watch Impact, like I got to cover Impact. So like I'm going to have the game on and then Impact on. So like I want to watch the game. I don't give a fuck what's going on Impact. Like Dark State showed up. Well, they're going to wrestle Joe Hendry and Hank and Tank on Tuesdays NXT. Dark State is Cutler James, who can't even make it on LFG, and Dion Lennox and Sean Sugars.
That's what you should tell Cutler James. You got cut from LFG. That's his claim to fame right now.
So dumb.
BJ Ray was better than you.
I gotta write these Impact articles when I'm trying to get angry because Cale Makar can't hit the fucking net, even though he's supposed to be the best defenseman in the league. I got you, Live Glass. Hold on. I did say I would do a She-Wolf howl. Shout out to Shakira. That's a good ass song.
Yeah, and I said it last.
What are you singing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I said it yesterday in the live chat. I talk my shit when the Lakers are winning. I'm gonna own up to losses when we take the losses. This is what I do.
You have more accountability than the head coach. I respect it. All right. I didn't think of. I didn't know I was gonna actually sing the She-Wolf song. There's a oh boy. Oh, that sounds terrible. There's a she-wolf in the closet. I remember how it goes. Hold on, let me look up the lyrics. Everyone listen to Shakira. I did Hips Don't Lie is legit. Like I'll do that in karaoke. I'm not good at it, but way worse than Shakira. But you know, it's still good.
Very fair.
All right. There's a she-wolf in the closet. Open up and set it free. Ow! There's a she-wolf in the closet. Let it out so it can breathe. Ow, ow, ow. That's how the song goes. Listen to it, SP3. That is the song.
I'd rather not.
Shakira rules. That's a good ass song. That was a good ow, Lab Glass. You gotta give me credit for that one. That was a good ass ow.
Okay.
Everyone go listen to She-Wolf by Shakira. Look at this. I earned an extra $10 from
Look at that.
Look at that.
Show some love. Thank you. He said worth more.
Appreciate you, Lab Glass. That's and when that song comes on in my car, I'm singing the shit out of that song. And Hips Don't Lie is a banger. Absolute banger.
Yeah,
that's a good ass song. Shakira's got some hits, man. Bless.
She's got some bangers.
Yeah, the kids like watching Zootopia, and she does like the music for Zootopia. So anytime I hear like she does like the main title track of that one. Oh, by the way, not a spoiler, kind of a spoiler. You know what the ending song that played on You was?
Wasn't it Taylor's? Was it Taylor Swift again?
They did play a Taylor Swift song in the season finale. Yes, they did play a Taylor Swift song, but the final track for You, "Creep" by Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh yeah. That was actually really well done. That was actually.
I popped so much when I heard "Creep" as the closing track of that show.
Yeah, because I think my missus was singing the song. She knows the song, so she was singing it a bit.
It's one of the greatest Smashing Pumpkins songs ever. Everyone should go just watch.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Can't wait to talk about it. Just watch the final 2 minutes of You, just to hear the song. That's it. All right, everybody. We'll be. Oh yeah, Shakira, I'm on tonight. You know my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel ya, boy. It's a good ass song. They even brought the Colombian out right there. No fighting. Oh, no fighting.
Okay, guys.
Catch me in a good mood today. I'm going to be pissed off tomorrow, everybody.
Fair.
Till then. SP3, let them know where you're at.
That's the Twitter machine. Come bother me for my Stardom takes, or you can don't come to make fun of my Lakers. I already talked about that. That's the last time I'm going to be talking. No, probably Jimmy will try to bring it up and put it in my face as well. So second to last time I'll be talking about it. But yeah, I'll be live in a half an hour with Jimmy Macaram for AE Ramble, talking about last night's AEW Dynamite and seeing how much Jimmy Macaram hated that 8-man tag team matchup. So join us live on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel today. And and I'll be tomorrow on True Hill Heat talking about Dark Side of the Ring, and Saturday, the flagship podcast will be myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and Top Guy JJ, the OG trio. So join us for that as well. And thank you as always, Jeremy. Always fun to talk to you on a Thursday. And yes, watch LFG playoff start this Sunday. A&E. Let's go.
Till then, talk to y'all tomorrow. We're back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Myself and Joel Pearl. Bye, everybody.